Sir, you're charged with especially aggravated kidnapping. You're also charged with aggravated assault. And you're charged with theft of a firearm worth less than $2,500.
You're talking about stuff that is not relevant.
Hello and welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the Recovery Addict, and boy do I have a case for you today.
Why is the dog chewing on this guy?
I think they have got the wrong guy there.
Got the wrong guy, and the dog was biting him.
He roughing him up quite a bit. There's a lawsuit.
9 out of 10 judges prefer watching the Recovery Addict live stream in their courtroom.
The fireworks are not done.
Now we're getting commentary on the case. I didn't ask you to interrupt me. Dati mihi Anglican po yung service.
Is that correct?
That's literally not correct. From saying.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the Recovery Addict. It's a wonderful Tuesday morning. 1st of July. We made it all the way to July. You didn't hear the news. Oh my goodness. Brian Kohberger case. It's off. I'm sorry if you were counting on it. It's over. It's not going to happen. Brian Kohberger accepting a plea deal. It'll happen formally tomorrow, but news broke yesterday. Holy cow. What other news is happening today? Let's see. Our names are back to normal in YouTube chat. That's great. That's just wonderful. Thank you. Now that everyone was all used to their handles, YouTube yanked the rug. They're probably going to switch back at some point. So, yay. Speaking of yay as well. Yay, Zoe, first in chat today. Congratulations. Our names are back. Yay. Zoe, your job is to fix the internet. We punish the first person in chat with that penalty every single day. And the first thing you did, before I even announced it, you got our names working. Thank you. Clearly, you were the right person to punish today. We're going to, that's not enough though. You have to keep it up for the rest of the day. Make everything keep working all day long. That's what we expect. Whew. Colleen says, I'm too busy to fix the internet. I'm so glad I didn't win. Our names are back. It is wonderful. So many questions about Brian Kohberger going forward. What's going to happen? Do we get a full story? Is he going to tell all? Is that part of the deal that he explains and accounts for his actions and where the weapon is and you know where he went and his motives? Do we get that closure? Because I know a lot of family members are not happy about this deal. In so much of they are fighting. They're actively fighting. They're soliciting assistance to help fight against this deal, going directly to the judge, asking people to tell the judge not to accept it.
There's nothing in the order that restrains you from talking to cats.
They're not. Well, if I say too many nots, that's a problem. But they are not happy. Not happy. All right, we'll get to that in a minute. We also have court, which is starting right now. So you know, there's that. Let me get that pulled up for you. Just 1 second.
I'm not going to argue about semantics here.
Let's see where this one is. I've got audio. How are we so late? Was it starting at 9:30? Was that the plan? I've got no audio yet.
So you all may be seated. Thank you. So before I do bring the jury in, the court has been made aware of a situation that occurred allegedly on Friday afternoon here in the courthouse property or on the courthouse property.
This was the old
subsequent to the end of the day.
I want to hear this again.
I want to be clear that this court will not tolerate any disruptive behavior.
Yeah, they're not going to tolerate it, so don't do it. Okay, court is not starting. A false alarm. Whew. Okay, all right. Let's see. That's good because we haven't sung happy birthday to people. We haven't done any of the stuff we're supposed to do at all, which is good. We've got some time. I started early. It would be wrong for them to start court early.
I was told counsel wanted to see me at sidebar.
On that count. All right. Let's see. We need 4. We're going to go to 2 eventually.
Happy birthday. You look good.
All right. A couple things we have to do first, though. Let me start at the very beginning. Kelly H., back with your name as it should be. Gifted a membership first thing this morning. Thank you very much, Kelly H. Sandy Ward.
From talking to cats.
Sandy Ward. Thank you very much. Welcome to the gallery. Love the yellow courthouse. Thanks for your continued support of the channel. Wouldn't be the same without you here. Pickles, a.k.a. TC8. Says 11 months. Wow, this is the best. 2 wows. We get 2 wows in there. Thank you, Katia. Red Pen gifted 5 memberships. Thank you. Thank you, Red Pen, for that. Raina gifted another 10, just turning up the dial. Wow. A whole bunch of free memberships this morning. Kelly H gifted another one. Kim R, celebrating her dolphin, is back. It's back, y'all. BG member for 18 months says, yes, our names are back. Love this channel. RA mods in chat. I wish I could take credit for the names being back. I think all of y'all complaining online in various forums and on various accounts did it. But we are back, which probably means the points are broken again. It probably reset everybody's points. Now that they have. Yep. It reset everybody's points. And the worst part is now everyone's all behind themselves from yesterday. Because all those people are still there. Wow. All right. Lots of fun. We'll get it figured out. Allison Garofolo. This is my favorite channel. Thank you for filling my days. Allison, thank you very much. I appreciate you being here. Very much so. Love that you love it. That is great. And you gifted a membership as a thank you. And Reverend Beezy, you won. Reverend Beezy. Great aim, Allison. Reverend Beezy is one of the great ones. Longtime member OG as well. So thank you very much. You guys are amazing. All of you are amazing. What are we doing today? Let me explain where we're at. I have to before we do the birthday stuff or anything else. Let me just give you a quick rundown. First of all, Melissa and Matthew, I just went to the post office. I got the package. I have the package. I have to say this. I think I'm being punked. Not by you guys. I think like on a federal level, I'm being punked. Because as you know, my post office has a lot of post office boxes. You know this because mine is number 775. 775. It is practically the furthest from the door, which means I have to walk by 2 complete walls of post office boxes, which I look at wistfully as I do this every time, thinking, wow, I wish I didn't have to walk so far to my post office box. You know, this extra 10 feet is killing me. But I look at wistfully, and as I peruse all the boxes, the big boxes, the medium boxes, the small boxes, and then I get to the tiny boxes where mine is, I notice that something is different about my box, and only my box. I wish I had my phone with me because I would show you a picture of what I saw. But there, right smack dab in the middle of the door on box 775, on the outside, right next to the keyhole, was a cockroach. I kid you not, a cockroach. It was a little baby one. It was small. But how did they get it to sit right there on my door? I'm trying to, I don't want to, touch it, okay? Because what if it gets scared and runs in my box, and then I can't get the mail out? So I'm trying to open it carefully without the bug going in. Greener's like, oh, so you got my gift. That's how it went.
Somebody just sent me a video of roaches. I don't know who walked.
I just don't get it. I don't get it. A little bug about that size. Well, on my screen, it's probably bigger on the big screen, but it was tiny. It was tiny, but it was definitely a bug.
In front of the Walmart.
Anyway. Joni, bad news in your Central Air saga. We have to get a new unit. Oh, my goodness. That hurts. Leaking the A coil, I guess. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. That is awful. Good news. Ours is blowing 69-degree air upstairs. First time ever. Thank you. It's working. At least you got your package. I did. I got the package. The package, just for the record, the cockroach was not from the package. The package does not fit in the box, so they keep the package elsewhere and just put a note in the box. I have to take the note out of the box to the counter, and then they take the note, they go find my package, and they bring it and hand it to me over the counter. The package might be worse than the cockroach, though, because the package allegedly has some beans in it. No, not those kind of beans. We're talking jelly beans, but they are awful jelly beans. Some are good, but some are absolutely terrible. And and I'm going to be eating 22 of them on Thursday. So if you want to watch me eat 22 beans that are Bean Boozled, yes, they're the Harry Potter version of Jelly Bellies. I have to eat 22 of them by agreement on the podcast. Thomas last week did this, took it like a champ, just kept one after another after another. I am not going to be taking anyone's advice on which color to eat. He did, and it did not go well for him. I'm just going to let my kids choose 22, and I'll know if they love me based on the flavor. That's how it's going to go. She's nodding. She's like, yep. She's doing this with her hands. Yes, she's very excited. It's not earwax, toe jam, and vomit. Yes, those are some of the better flavors. Earthworm, personally, I'm just not excited for getting that one. Anyway, my favorite Jelly Belly is the buttered popcorn flavor. Yes, it happens to look identical to the earwax one. Anyway, so that's, I guess, a shameless plug, and a terrible one at that, for the podcast on Thursday. It will be July 3rd, Thursday on this channel. It's done live. Please join us. We have a live chat, live community. You get to interact a little bit, and you get to see it all happen as it goes down, or in this case, back up. I'm sorry. I just have to put that out there. That is a possibility. It could go down and come back up. Anyway, welcome, y'all. It's going to be great. That being said, let's celebrate the people who deserve to be celebrated today, but with birthdays. Josh says, I will tell you what beans to choose. I would never, ever lead you in the wrong direction. Josh, thank you, my friend, for doing the birthday list today. We have Soko, Judy, and Hari.
Happy birthday. You look good.
Celebrate. Is it Hari? I'm going to say Hari is how it's going. Melissa says, all right, in my defense, I asked Thomas before ever buying them. He said yes for me, just for the record. He said yes. I don't recall agreeing to anything, but Thomas agreed for me, and because we're partners, he has legal right to sign my name on the line on cases, things like this. So I'm legally bound. I have to eat 22 of them. In your state, can you legally blow up fireworks? I don't know why we would blow them up. I just prefer lighting them off. So yes, they sell them. We have firework stands now we do have some restrictions on the type of firework. I think straight firecrackers are a no-no. Like, you can't just go and grab yourself some, what back in the day they were called baby gorillas, ladyfingers, M80s, things like that. We used to get those all the time. Also illegal when we got them, but that's not legal here. You can't just do the M80 stuff. And I think some of the rockets, not sure about Roman candles. That's the one you hold and it shoots fireballs in the air. I think those are okay, which is ridiculous because it's like designed to be held and shot at people. It's literally like modern warfare. But the ones you sit on the ground, they launch in the air and explode. I don't think those are okay if they go too high. Anyway, let's go back. Let's get the singing done. I'm sorry, the birthday people are waiting, and it's terrible that we're waiting this long. I apologize. We have added Justin to the list. Let me correct that. There we go. Thank you very much for that. Let's do this. Everyone stand up, take a deep breath, shoulders back, project your voice to the back of the room, blend your voice with your neighbors, warm up with me if you will. La 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 la. It looks like it's Todd's birthday today as well. Cindy will get Todd on the list as well. There we go. Okay, here we go. Everybody. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Soko, Judy, Justin, Hari, Todd, and Matthew. Happy birthday to you. Do you see that? I remembered it without even having the names on the screen. Is there anyone else we need to sing to while the birthday song is going? We got Soko, Judy, Todd, Justin, Hari, and Matthew, who's 10 today. Matthew, happy birthday, you're 10. That is awesome. Happy birthday, Matthew. I'm not hearing anybody else piping up, admitting to their age. But that's okay. 5 is enough. 5 is enough for one day. Hari is 37. Happy birthday, Hari. Happy Canadian birthday. That's all. Is it Canadian birthday? Does it come around more often than other birthdays? Asking for a friend. Oh, man. I'm excited. Today's a good day. Happy birthday. To everyone who's celebrating, thank you very much. I realize there are many wonderful days. Today is your special day. There are a million places you could have been and a million people you could have celebrated with, but you chose to be here with us. The privilege, the pleasure, the honor is ours. Hopefully we can turn that joy back to you. Make your day a little more special or begin by helping yourself to free pancakes at Denny's, IHOP, Village Inn, Waffle House, McDonald's, Tammy Dunlap's House, Andy's Grill, and Bob Evans. Nailed it. First try. Ah, yeah. Happy birthday. Justin is 22. Happy 22, Justin. Justin, that's a caliber birthday. If you know what I mean. It's a caliber birthday. Anytime you have a birthday that coincides with the caliber of a firearm, it's like it has a little star by it. All right, French toast. Colleen's got French toast as well if you want that. Nope, drum solo coming up. Please help me with the drum solo. Finish off this this celebration in style. My chair is breaking. You guys tell it's like I'm falling off the chair. Here we go. Beautiful, beautiful. I don't know what I did to my chair, but it now reclines backwards and sidewards. Is sidewards a word? It reclines from middle to right and from middle to back, but not from middle to left. It's a special chair. It's an aftermarket feature. I know a bolt came out because I was reclining it and something went pop and it fell a little bit back. I may have been asleep, honestly. And the bolt is broken, but I don't know where it came from, so I don't know how to replace it. Sidewards is a word. Sideways or sidewards? Ann says, OMG on Kohberger. Oh my goodness, yes. Holy cow. Holy cow. I never thought that would happen. Last night was, big. It was, Tony. Thank you. I appreciate the text. Westerly direction. Southerly based on my orientation. I'm facing east right now. Face the east. Let's see. Let's get today ready. We've got a little bit of time. YouTube changed our names back. Yes, they did. They're taking away our numbers and they're giving us our names. It's the backwards of the song about Secret Agent Man. You remember that song? They take away they're giving you a number and they take away your name. Yeah. It's the backwards of that. It's an old one. Who sings that one? Who sings Secret Agent Man? It's an oldie but a goodie. Let's see. Yes, a couple of you were just finding out this morning that it got crazy last night. Minutes after we ended our live stream, having watched the court up in Tumwater, Washington, Thurston County, just minutes after that, the news broke that Brian Kohberger, he's charged in the Idaho 4 killings, has accepted a plea deal. And the terms of the plea deal is he pleads guilty to the 4 charges of murder. The state takes the death penalty off the table, and he serves life without parole, which is basically the best he could hope for in a trial setting. So this spares the families a little bit of the trial experience, and it spares his family a lot of the burden of supporting him during trial. And I know that was probably more of his motivation behind that, but the victims' families are actually quite upset about this. A lot of them felt that the death penalty was the only appropriate penalty for Brian Kohberger, and this removes it, and they're actively fighting against it. So we'll get to see. We'll watch this live on Wednesday. Tomorrow we'll have to put this court on hold if need be, and watch and see if the judge actually accepts that plea, because that will be done in open court. We'll be following that. We'll be streaming it live, and if the judge doesn't accept it, first of all, I don't know why he wouldn't. I've got to put that out there. But it's a possibility he wouldn't accept it for one reason or another. And I don't know legally how much he can factor in the wishes of the victims' families when it is literally within the range of punishment for the crimes. It's interesting. All right. I think he will accept it as well. What about this question? Is he obligated to tell his story? We don't know the details. I don't know the details as to what the case, what it is. And we might not know everything because everything's been quite hush-hush. Remember, there's a gag order in this case. And I realize the judge has said, hey, some things, not everything needs to be sealed. Some things public has a right to know. But since that time, he's still been sealing documents and holding the private hearings that are just in the presence of the judge and no public allowed. So there's still a lot to come out. I do I imagine that once the judge accepts that order, that puts an end to the possibility of a trial. And once the possibility of a trial is completely gone, and there's no take-backsies, right? He can't just say, wait, I changed my mind after the fact. That's one of the terms of the conditions, as I understand it. No appeal. Then the judge has no reason to keep the gag order in place. That frees the prosecutors up to tell all. And also it should unseal a lot of the evidence. Now, I think that there will be a motion to keep sealed autopsy photos, some crime scene photos. Those just will never see the light of day. And I think that's actually a good thing. That's not what we need to, that won't answer any questions. I'd rather have what's in his head than what's in that photo file. All right. Will we watch the plea tomorrow? Yes, we will, right here. Let's see. Who else is... let me get... We've got probably 17 minutes before court starts. This is the problem when I started early. I thought it was going to take longer to tell you my story about the post office, but in fact, it was quite quick. I want to see the crime scene photos. I'd like to better understand the crime scene, but I can get enough information just from a medical examiner's chart as far as the autopsy and things like that goes. I don't want to see the bodies. I don't need to see the pools of blood, if that makes sense. I'd like to understand what happened and orientation and order and time frame, things like that. Those questions I do want to know, but I don't know. I'm old enough to know that there are some images I've seen in life that I just can't get rid of, and I wish I didn't have. And some of those pictures just get too close to that category. So I'm okay with that. I don't blame you if you want to watch. I know you want to see that, but that's just where I'm at. Did you get your AC problem fixed? Yes and no. We fixed the AC, but it caused a swimming pool in our attic, which overflowed through the roof. So yes, the AC is working, I guess is the short answer. Yes, it's working, but now we have the pool issue we have to take care of. How can two safety switches that detects water buildup both failed? I just don't get it. Weezer, RA, good luck eating jelly beans. So excited. Oh my goodness. Weezer, I have not even opened the package because I hear it. You can, you get a whiff. I have not even opened it yet. The box is sealed. I might open the whole thing on Thursday. All right. Let's see. Bite Me, gifted a membership. Thank you very much, Rebecca. Thanks for your generosity. Lazy Puppy Power. I like the name Lazy Puppy Power because of the bike I got. My e-bike is Pucky Puppy, which is a powered bike, which is basically Lazy Puppy Power. That's the definition of the e-bike I ride. Went for a ride yesterday, by the way. Did about 12 miles. Went to all the limits of my town, as far as all over the place. It was a lot of fun. All right. Sounds like you bought a money trap. I did. Built in 1915. It looks like a beautiful old house. Columns, pillars outside, wraparound deck, statues of lions on the front porch. It looks beautiful. I love it. I love the house. On the inside, literally, as I'm eating breakfast, I'm hearing something chewing on my wall. I'm like, oh, good. I've got something else. And it's not the outside wall. It's the inside wall. Like, oh, good. I've got something else to hunt down and kill. All right. Tony, thanks for having my back. I know I can count on you for that. I appreciate you. Can we please get a points recap? I missed something somewhere. What's the points thing? Devin, the short answer is the points are pointless. It's something that we might do something with in the future. We're sort of testing it out. It's the points are based on your name. They're attached to your name, so every time you change your name, the points reset for you. So there's that. It's basically my effort to get people to stop changing the name so I can just remember who they are instead of relearning new people all the time. It's a feature of Lumia Stream. Lumia Stream's a little app we use that if you ever trigger exclamation point cat or exclamation point guy or exclamation point XP or one of those other commands, it's that software, and it just tracks who has logged in. And I think it tracks by if you chat within an hour. For every hour that you're there, you get
nothing in the
points.
order that restrains you from talking to cats.
There's the cats. That's a Lumia Stream command. It's just something that you can do on your side. A lot of people find it fun to track how long they've been here. And it's one thing to do it with membership. I realize there are a lot of people who financially membership is not an option. And I don't want them to be left out. And this points system allows you to sort of track how long you've been here without having to be a member. So that was the idea behind it. It's not working very well, but we might be able to turn it into something fun. All right. Not so fun fact. My husband has been feeding the chipmunks on our patio with camera set up. Now we have mice eating too. Okay.
I'm not going to argue about semantics here.
Let me
in front of the Walmart.
Let me do this. Hold tight for a second.
Because he's the guy.
I have a BB gun. I have a Red Ryder BB gun. It's literally, if you watch The Christmas Story and Ralphie is like, I want a Red Ryder BB gun. I have that gun.
I'm not a cat.
It's not good for, it's good for getting somebody's attention. If you wanted to do that, I don't recommend that, but it's not a killer weapon. But if the target was small enough, it could do the trick, like a mouse. And so I'm just asking, is it cool to Red Ryder BB gun a mouse? Is there anything against that? Because I would.
They just sent me a video of roaches fighting.
I'd put on my safety glasses and I'd sit in an uncomfortable position for a long time with the gun trained on a little mouse hole if I had to. Nope. How is that worse than giving them poison that swells their insides or makes them drink until they drown or smash their skull with it? How is it worse? I'm just curious. Depends if he's paying rent. No. Unless you count cleaning the floor by eating the food my kids drop. It's not cool. No. Okay, so no live stream of the mouse annihilation. I got it. Okay, we won't do that.
Shame on you, sir.
Rat, yes. Mouse, no. Okay, I'm definitely on board with the rats, and I've done that in the past. The rats need to go, but leave them alone. They're in my house. They're in my walls. They're chewing on the wires. It's a fire. Yeah. Anyway, all right. Let's get ready to go to court here in just a second. Well, let me tell you where we are in the Raul Valle trial. First of all, this remarkably has similarities to the Brian Kohberger case, but not a lot. We have 4 victims. The 4 victims were stabbed. We have a young defendant, this case high school, college age. This was a party house that this happened at. So it's remarkable the number of similarities. I was just comparing the 2 last night. But it's Valle, isn't it? I've heard it pronounced a million different times. I think if I just pronounce his name every way, at least once, then I'll be okay. It could be Valle. It could be Valle. There's a bunch. I don't know. There's a million ones. I have a cat. My cat refuses to work. It will kill squirrels, but it won't kill mice. Apparently, it's not enough meat for him. They call him Valle in court. We'll go with Valle today. Okay, let's see. I don't think we even have. Nope, we don't even have the courtroom camera yet.
There's nothing in the order that restrains you from talking to cats.
But it should be here shortly. Let's see. Still not there.
I was kicked back, taking it easy.
There.
I don't like podiums, Your Honor.
I don't like podiums either. Problem with a podium is people want to call it a podium and it's a lectern, or they want to call it a lectern and it's a podium. And I don't know the difference. That's why I don't like them. Okay. All right. Who does the sounds? You do. You do. If you type exclamation point and then type one of the commands with no spaces, you have to know what the commands are. Then the sounds just happen. We turn them down and we ask them not to be used and abused during trial because we're trying to focus on trial. But other than that, so like whooping, there's one. It's going to happen here by itself.
I think I'm about to catch a whooping.
Like that. I can turn the volume up as well.
Is that correct?
That's correct. Thank you, Maddie. Can Raul choose to not finish testifying today?
Someone with more experience.
What if he doesn't want to get back on the stand? You can't go halfway. He can't say, I told my part of the story and now I don't want to get cross-examined. That does not work. Once he's waived that right, it's waived.
When are we going to break
period.
for lunch, Judge?
I was confused by the sounds. I thought trial was starting. We have a couple that sound exactly like trial starting, like they call us to order and everything else.
A cat.
Have you made That's Just BS soundbite from Dr. Lapastada? No, I don't think I have that one. Let me tell you, this morning as I was getting ready, I was watching Judge Middleton just here in the studio. And I had him going for about an hour as I was getting things set up this morning.
Happy birthday. You look good.
No, thank you, Judge Fleischer. Appreciate that. I was watching Judge Middleton, and he had a morning and a half. Oh, my goodness. I've got it. I might save it. You know, if we've got a break or something, we might watch that. If court ends early or something. Let's see. It was funny. He thought he recognized a defendant, and he did. And he's like, "Are you so and so's son?" And he's like, "No, that was my great grandfather." It was pretty good. It was pretty good. The judge is like, "Well, that makes me feel old."
Are we going to address subject matter jurisdiction?
All right. Do you think there are other defense witnesses? Teresa, that's a great question. I don't think there are. I don't think they need any others. First of all, they've already talked to and got good testimony from the other individuals that were in the car. Those were key elements that they got. He's going to tell his version of the events today, and if he survives cross-examination, which will be quite vigorous, I imagine, I think they rest. So I think we might have the defense rest today. Laura Fry, welcome to the gallery. Thank you, Laura. Good to have you here. Have my bingo card ready. Do points reset every day? No, they just reset when your name changes.
Walmart.
So if you had a name with a number yesterday,
I was kicked back, taking it easy.
it basically sees you as a new person because it's not actually accessing YouTube. It's just scanning chat to see what happens. So everything that happens in chat, new member messages, super chats, super stickers, gifted memberships, all those things that it can see in chat count. And just talking in chat counts. So every hour, if you're talking like once an hour, it's accruing points as well. Still can't wait to be green and a pink courthouse, says Laura Fry. That's going to be great. You're halfway there. You're halfway there. That's correct. Susie, your name changed back. It was YouTube. It's not something I can do on this side. Hope he fixes. I'm like, oh, Camilla, that has been a problem. Here's what I'm doing in court. For those that don't know, Raul talks very quietly. I'm not. Some people have said this is an act. He wants to look timid for the jury,
as well.
because then they won't really believe that. No, this guy killed. Attacked 4 people. That maybe. I don't know. I don't have a baseline from him and outside of court at all, other than that we hear that he was yelling and swearing and puffing up his chest and got in fight before. So I don't know. I don't have anything to compare that by. But his mic placement is like this. He talks right here. And mics have what's called a sweet spot. The pickup pattern is the area around the mic in a specific area. This particular mic, I believe it's called an SM58, which has a cardioid pattern, like it's shaped like a heart. Like it doesn't pick up well from behind. Like you wouldn't hear anything back here, like snaps and stuff, but you hear a lot up here. You need to be sort of right in front of it and sort of close up to it. And he talks quietly over here. So I've had to turn the volume way up. The problem is his lawyer understands mics and is right on top of it like this and talks loudly. And so when I turn him up, I get the lawyer louder as well. So I have to sort of take the limit down on the lawyer. It's difficult. I think it's a Shure 58, Robin. I haven't been able to see the for sure. It might be like an Audio Technica version, but anyway, I'll do what I can to get the audio as good as I can for you on this one. Hanging with Yins gifted a membership. Thank you very much for that. Good to have you here. Welcome, by the way, we got a lot of new subscribers yesterday during the Brian Kohberger coverage. So welcome if you're here for the first time. Good to have you here. We're going to be starting court in just a minute, as soon as it begins, which is I think pretty soon. Let's see here. Yeah, we'll have video for you in just a minute. So nothing yet from court. Let's see, Melissa Ann, welcome to the gallery. Thank you very much, Melissa. Also, I think we got Laura there, hanging with Ian's gifted the membership, and OG Sean White. Thank you very much for the super chat. Let's see. Stacy Ray gifted a membership. Auntie in Arkansas is the winner. Congratulations, and thank you, Stacy Ray, for that. Virginia says, you had the scoop for BK. I've got to give credit to Brian Enton. He had it first, News Nation on Twitter. I think we were one of the first on YouTube, but I had the advantage. I literally had just turned off my live stream and everything was set up, ready to go. It took, mere seconds to get it fired back up. But wow, completely floored when that broke. All right. What about a tour of the new bathroom? That'll come eventually, but got some projects to do before we do that. The sink has to be finished. Chris Wallace gifted a membership. Thank you, Chris. Queen Olive gifted a membership. Oh, man, you guys are generous. Thank you very much. That's super kind. What happens to kids stealing and maneuvering alcohol the old-fashioned way? Having mom hand it to you takes the fun out of it, says Ivan, I cannot endorse this behavior, but I hear where you're going with that. It does, Mr. Valle, Valle did say that his friend Travis got the alcohol from his parents. And the way he said it was like they gave it to him type thing, that's a problem. Okay, let's see. All right, let's go to this version's a little clearer. Sub Rosa, member for 1 month. Congratulations on hitting the membership milestone. Says, can we have "Are you sure?" from my cousin Vinny? It's my favorite quote. I have to be careful with movie quotes. That's probably short enough that we can do it.
I was kicked back, taking it easy.
We typically get sound effects from trials. So I'd prefer if we have something like that from a trial we watch, because it's always fun to reflect back on, when a judge said this or a lawyer said that, and we were there when it happened, and we use that sound effect. That I prefer that way than just going straight movie quotes, because once we open the door to that, it really it's hard to say no to a bunch of people that want great movie lines. Kayla Newell, member for 22 months, part of the furniture now, laughed, cried, and maybe blacked out from cringe. Still here, more committed than I've ever been at the gym. That's awesome. I'm better than a New Year's resolution. Kayla Newell, thank you very much. And OG status as well. Thank you. 22 months of support. All right. We are about to, let me tell you where we pick up when court starts. First of all, Raul Valle is on the stand. He's being questioned directly by his lawyer, Mr. Smith. And he just got to the point in the story where he's explained about the first
Judge Murphy presiding. Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. You may be seated. Thank you.
It's a cold start. He's about to say what happened when he showed up at that second fight.
All right, so we are here again today to continue the trial of the matter of State of Connecticut versus Royal Valley. the adjournment yesterday, the defendant, Mr. Valle, was on the stand. So I would ask Mr. Valle at this time to please take his place on the stand. Counsel, if you'd please place your appearances on the record for purposes of today's record.
Good morning, Your Honor. Mark Dorso for the state of Connecticut.
Good morning, Your Honor. Tatiana Messina for the state of Connecticut.
Mr. Valle, come up, have a seat. I just want to remind you, you do remain under the obligations of the oath that you took when you first entered the stand. Thank you.
Good morning, Your Honor. Kevin Smith for the defendant, Mr. Valle.
The mic's in a better position.
Is there anything that needs to be addressed by the court before bringing the jury in this morning?
I don't believe so, Your Honor. Not from the defense, Your Honor.
All right. So, Attorney Smith, you were in the middle of your direct examination. I'll leave it to you or defer to you as to whether or not you would like to be standing at the podium or take the podium at the time the jury presents.
I'll go ahead and take the podium now, Your Honor.
She says
I just
podium.
want to
Is that a lectern or a podium?
address with the attorneys before we bring the jury in. I do intend to first give the jurors an idea of what the schedule looks like, and I just want to make sure that I confirm that with all of you. So it's my understanding that informal conference, we left it at today. We will complete, I believe, the state's case. So I anticipate the state will rest sometime today. Does the defense, excuse me, does the state anticipate any rebuttal?
At this time, no, Your Honor.
No rebuttal.
So if in fact there is no rebuttal, then we would be off tomorrow. So there would not be any court session tomorrow on this particular trial. And then I would anticipate we would have closing arguments as well as the court's jury charge on Thursday. And so that would be July 3rd. We can conduct the charging conference on the record in the morning on the 3rd as well. And then obviously no court on the 4th. Deliberations, I would assume, would at least be able to start on Thursday the 3rd. And if we need to go into extra days, the next time we would reconvene would be on July 7th, which would be the following Monday.
Okay,
so
that's a good schedule.
That I'm going to provide the jury. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
That's a good schedule. I like that. That gives us tomorrow for Brian Kohberger, which is not going to happen until the afternoon. That's 11 o'clock East or 11 o'clock Mountain Time, which would put us at 1 o'clock Eastern. I think that checks out. Who was that? Bailiffs? MCAT, happy Canada Day. Thank you very much. 29 months. Oh, Canada. Love our Canadian friends here. Melissa Ann, member for 16 months. Been watching you for over 26, but missed 10 months when I went back to teaching last September. Love the channel and community. Thank you, Melissa Ann. Thank you. Thank you. Aya, welcome to the jury. Thank you very much, Aya. Love that support. Appreciate that. And Sheena, 13 months. Hey, y'all.
I would ask counsel to stipulate to the return of the jurors.
State will stipulate, Your Honor.
Defense will stipulate, Your Honor.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, before we commence the proceedings, I just wanted to give you an idea of what the anticipated schedule is going to look like, because I'm trying to keep you informed. I know that I said I would do that. Sometimes it's a bit difficult, and I apologize. However, I anticipate that today the defense will rest. I do not know whether or not we'll have any rebuttal on behalf of the state. I don't anticipate any at this time. That could change. So I do believe today will not be a full day, perhaps a half day at best of evidence. Once the evidence closes, of course, you still need to hear the closing arguments as well as the jury instructions as to how to apply the law to the facts you find as the jurors. In this particular case, we will not be in session tomorrow. So there would not be court for this trial tomorrow. That would bring us to July 3rd for closing arguments, the jury charge to you, and then the commencement of your deliberations at that point in time. We are not in session on July 4th. So if additional time is needed, and you'll be told that you'll take as much time as you need for your deliberations, So if additional time is needed, then we would be back to reconvene with deliberations on Monday, July 7th. Okay, until, of course, and it would be day to day until, of course, the jury indicates to the court that they are done with their deliberations. Okay, so I just wanted to give that information to you now, so if we have a morning recess and you need to reach out and adjust your schedules at all, you'll have an ability to do that, and you know what the rest of the week looks like. So thank you so much.
Wayne Hetchel.
When we adjourned yesterday, Mr. Valle was on the stand for his direct examination on behalf of the defense. I am going to, at this point in time, direct Attorney Smith to continue on with that direct examination.
Wayne, congratulations on 27 months. Thank you so much.
Good morning, Mr. Valle. I'm going to remind you again, you've got to keep your voice up. You are soft-spoken. We are competing with the fans, but everybody's got to hear you, okay?
Like, yes. The ones that blow air, not cheering.
So yesterday when we were here and we left off, I believe you had taken us to the front lawn of 43 Laurel Glen Drive. Do you recall that?
Yes.
And you were describing for us the scene there on that front lawn as you and Mr. De Silva walked up to a group of individuals that had come out of the house. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Okay. And I believe that you had told us just shortly before we dispersed for the day that you thought there were about 10 people facing you and about 10 people facing Mr. De Silva. Do you recall that?
Yes, but I'd say it was around 50 kids altogether.
50 kids altogether?
Yes.
Were you counting them? How can you be sure that there were 50 kids?
I wasn't able to see behind them because there were so many people.
It felt to you like there were 50 kids?
Yes.
But you weren't counting 50 kids?
No.
Do you recall how many kids, do you recall yesterday you had described for us that there were essentially two groups that started to form, one that was dealing more with Mr. De Silva and one that was dealing more with you?
Yes.
And how far away were you from Mr. De Silva at that point?
Once the two groups started forming, it was hard to say how far Tyler was from me. I want to say 5-6 feet.
Okay. And you had described that he was trying to have some sort of a conversation with somebody that he was dealing with. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Were you trying to have a conversation with anybody? What were you doing at that point?
Yes. I was trying to have a conversation with Ryan Hines.
Ryan Hines was one of the people that was facing you?
Yes.
How many other people do you remember that you were dealing with in the group that was facing you?
After they separated into two groups, I want to say there was around 25 to 20 people just on me.
And where were they positioned?
At first, they were just in front. And then once they made the two separate groups, they were on both sides and in front of me.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
Yes, thank you.
I'm going to put back up there for us State's Exhibit 52 behind you on the easel. Would you turn and try to drop it? Where do you recall standing as this group starts to form around you?
I want to say around 2.
Did you see anybody around the red bush?
There was people everywhere.
Could you see anybody moving around behind the red bush?
No, I wasn't.
Okay. When you described being surrounded by this group that's facing you, were there some kids that were dealing with you more directly than the larger group?
Once they separated us into two groups, everyone was saying stuff.
You described interacting with Ryan Hines.
Yes.
Was he separate from the larger group in some way that you were dealing directly with him? Tell us how that worked.
He was just the person that I was talking to. There was people shoulder to shoulder with him, right next to him on my sides, but he was the one that I started talking to directly.
Was he closest to you?
They were all the same distance from me.
How far away from you were they?
Not even a foot.
That close to you?
Yeah.
Your Honor, I'd ask the witness to demonstrate with me what he was experiencing at that point.
If the witness is comfortable demonstrating, that's fine. Just please keep it in the well. Thank you.
Will you come down here, Mr. Valle, please?
Please, if there's going to be any statements, just make sure that you're keeping your voice up so the microphones can catch your statement. Thank you.
If I'm you,
I like this judge.
where is Ryan Hines?
Right here.
And is Ryan Hines as the same size as you?
At the time, I was very small kid. I grew a lot since then.
And you're Ryan Hines. What is he doing?
First, we're just talking.
At some point, does he do something else?
If he punches his attorney, I'll get a bingo.
After he starts yelling, I stuck my hand out as I was backing up from everybody, and he smacks my hand out.
Where were the other people that you said were around him?
To my sides, in front of me, everywhere.
What did you do when he smacked your hand down?
I started slowly backing up even before that. And I was trying back up.
Take a stand, please.
He says he was much smaller then.
As you
Ryan Hines was
began
bigger than
to
him, slapped
try
his
to back
hand.
up, what happened at that point?
I got hit.
Where did you get hit?
It was the side of my head, I want to say, but I couldn't really tell where.
And when you say it was the side of your head, could you tell which side?
I only found out after.
And how were you feeling at that point?
Everything just went black.
He blacked out.
When you say everything went black, what's the next thing that you remember?
My face was in the ground.
Could you see where Tyler De Silva was? What could you see?
Just the ground. And people were just stomping and kicking and punching everywhere.
Did you have the knife in your hand at that point?
No.
Where was the knife?
It was in my pocket.
Could you see any way to escape?
No.
Did you try to get up?
Yeah.
Could you get up?
No.
Why not?
There was just so many people hitting me and just everywhere.
What could you hear?
They were yelling and just, it was so weird. They were just yelling like, I can't even describe it.
Did you hear anyone say, yes, sir?
I heard a whole bunch of things I can't.
Could you hear anything from Mr. De Silva?
No.
Could you see the vehicle that you had arrived in, Jack Snyder's car?
No.
Could you see any way to make an escape from your position? Where were the other people that were kicking you, as you've described it?
All around me, on top of me, behind me.
Could you see who was on top of you?
No.
Could you tell what the person or persons that were on top of you were doing?
Hitting me.
Where were they hitting you?
My head, the back of my head, kicking the front of my face, my ribs, everywhere.
Did you get the sense that they were going to let you up and let you go?
Yeah.
What did you do at that point?
I went to cover my head in like a fetal position.
Did that seem to have any effect? What did you hope would happen if you went into the fetal position?
That they would stop.
Did they stop?
They did not.
Put us there on that lawn with you in the fetal position. What were you feeling?
Hopeless, scared, terrified.
Why hopeless?
Because they just weren't stopping.
How were you feeling physically?
Hurt.
What hurt?
Everything.
Did you lose consciousness?
After the first hit, yeah.
What happened next?
As I was in the fetal position, covering the sides of my head and the top of my head with my forehead into the dirt, I was almost like hunched over, and I reached in my pocket and grabbed the knife.
What were you thinking when your hand touched that knife?
It felt like the only thing that would help me.
What were you seeing at that point around you?
My face was in the dirt. I couldn't really see. I just felt nothing changed.
Could you see Tyler De Silva?
No.
Could you hear Tyler De Silva?
No.
What could you hear?
Still just the same screaming. That's it.
Did the group give any indication that they were going to stop or let you up?
No.
What happened next?
After I took the knife out of my pocket, I started waving and just stabbing in every direction, just flailing my arm around.
Could you tell if you'd hit anything? Did that seem to have any effect on the attack?
No, it made me more scared.
Why did it make you more scared?
Because it didn't change what they were doing, and it didn't stop them from doing anything.
Were they still kicking you?
Yeah.
Was someone still on top of you?
Yeah, there were so many people on top of me.
Were you able to get up at that point?
No.
What happened next?
I kept flailing my arm around, just trying to get them away from me.
Were you aiming for anyone?
No.
Were you aiming for Ryan Hines?
No.
You weren't trying to kill Ryan Hines?
No.
What about Tommy Connery? You stabbed him 4 times in the leg. What were you trying to do to Tommy Connery?
Get them away from me.
Did there come a time when it was just you and Ryan Hines fighting one-on-one?
No.
Did there come a time when Tommy Connery separated you from Ryan Hines and was just there with you one-on-one, standing up?
No.
Where were you the entire time you were flailing?
Sit on the ground. Not sure if the
How were you feeling while you were flailing around with that knife?
More scared than before. Terrified. Just, it didn't make him stop even though I was flailing around a knife.
Could you tell how many people were around you at that point?
No.
What happened next?
Some flashes, but I just remember getting shoved into the car.
Did there come a point where you were able to stand up? How did you get shoved to the car?
I remember while I was in the fetal position and like flailing my arm around, I like rolled on the back of my heels and tried to jump backwards.
Tried to jump backwards?
Yeah.
Can you show us what you're talking about? You come down here for the jurors.
Yeah. So I was like this.
Okay.
And I tried to get to my heels to like push myself backwards.
What happened?
It didn't work.
What do you mean it didn't work?
There was people behind me and there was nowhere to move.
Were there people over top of you?
Yeah.
What do you remember that being like?
Chaotic and scared.
Take the stand again, please. So there came a time when you were able to stand up. Do you recall that?
No, I just remember somehow I got thrown into the car.
You got thrown into the car?
Yeah.
Okay. Could you see Tyler DeSilva at that point?
At one point, when I was at the car, I looked over and I saw Tyler DeSilva.
And what did you see Tyler DeSilva doing?
He was also on the ground getting beat on.
Could you tell how many people were beating him while he was on the ground?
I can't give a number.
And do you recall how many people were around you when you got shoved into the car, as you've described it?
As soon as I looked back, the first thing I was looking for was Tyler.
Okay. Did you see any of the people that had just been attacking you?
Yeah.
Where were they?
Right on the edge of the lawn on the curb, somewhere on the street going back.
Did you see Ryan Hines anywhere?
No.
Did you know Tommy Connery before this?
No.
Did you know Ryan Hines before this?
No.
Did you know Faison Teal before this?
No.
Did you know Jimmy McGrath before this?
No.
You say you remember getting shoved to the car. Did you make it to the car eventually?
Yeah.
And what did you do when you were at the car?
As soon as I looked for Tyler, I saw him getting beat on.
What was Jack Snyder doing?
Nothing.
Did he say anything when you went to the car?
I didn't even open the car door all the way.
Why didn't you just get in that car and leave?
I saw my best friend, somebody that I loved. Nobody was helping him.
How did you feel?
It was still terrible, but I couldn't just let him be there alone. I felt like I had to save him.
Did you think that Jack Snyder was going to wait for you if you went back in there?
Objection as to what Jack Snyder was going to do.
Sustained.
Did you have any indication that Jack Snyder was going to wait for you?
No.
You didn't open that door at that point and take out that knife and then go back and stab those 4 kids?
No.
You already had that knife when you'd been attacked on the lawn the first time?
Yeah.
Are you sure about that?
Positive.
You weren't upset that you had been attacked and went back to get that knife? Had you known about that knife being in the car prior to that evening?
No.
When you got back to that car, you didn't get back into the car, right? Why didn't you just go running off back down the street, back down Farmhouse Lane towards, or down Laurel Glen towards Farmhouse?
Well, I just couldn't live town.
So I just
Why
couldn't
not?
leave Tyler.
He was my best friend. Looked at him like a brother. Like, what kind of man would I to just leave him there?
What did you worry might happen to him if you left him?
If he was in the same situation as me, I thought it was.
I'm going to object. Calls for speculation as to what would happen to Tyler.
Sustained.
You can ask that question differently.
What were you worried about
There it
if
is.
you left and ran down to the end of Laurel Glen and Farmhouse Lane?
That Tyler wouldn't have made it out of there.
That's in defense of others. As far as checking the boxes, he's just checked everything
What happened
he needed
next?
for self-defense. for the first three. There's still a
I found
fourth
myself right on the edge of the grass and the curb.
How did you get there?
I just remember being there. I think I ran over.
What did you see when you got there?
Just another wall of people.
Did you see Tyler Da Silva?
No.
Did you cross paths with Tyler Da Silva?
Yeah.
You say another wall of people. Did you see Mr. Hines, who had been on top of you before?
I think so.
Did you recognize any other people that you saw there?
I saw a lot of people I didn't recognize, but I saw Matt Lockovich.
How did you know Matt Lockovich?
I've seen him at other parties before.
Did you go to school with Matt Lockovich?
I did not.
Do you know if he was older or younger than you or the same age?
I believe we were the same age.
Are you and Matt Lockovich the same size?
No. He was way bigger than me.
How did you feel at that moment?
Felt like the same thing was going to happen again.
Why didn't you just turn around and run back to the car?
There was no way I was going to be able to turn my back on that many people.
Why not?
I was just, there was no way to turn around without them really about to hit me or knock me down or something.
Did they give any indication that they were backing off?
No.
Did they start to back away from you as you stepped onto the lawn?
No, they stepped closer.
Where did you see people?
It was almost like a U, but wider.
Like a horseshoe?
Yeah.
Semicircle.
Were there people to your right?
Yeah.
Were there people in front of you?
Yeah.
Did they give you any indication that they were just going to let you go?
No.
What did they do?
They stepped closer, and then I got hit.
You got hit?
Yeah.
Who hit you?
Came from the left side. I don't know exactly who hit me.
Where did they hit you?
In the right side of my head.
What did they hit you with?
I don't know. I think their hand.
How many people?
I don't know. As soon as they hit me, I fell, and I swung.
You told us before that you were wearing slides that night.
Yeah.
Were you still wearing the slides at this point?
No.
What happened to the slides?
They were gone. Just in my socks.
Was it wet on the grass that night?
Yes.
What else do you recall about being hit?
I just remember immediately after I got hit and fell, I swung.
What were you swinging at?
Anything.
What were you aiming for?
Anybody who was coming at me.
Did Matt Lockovich hit you?
I couldn't see who hit me.
Did Jimmy McGrath hit you?
I couldn't see who hit me.
When you swung that knife, did you feel it hit something?
No.
How were you feeling when you swung that knife?
Immediately after I swung, I had one knee on the ground, I slipped, and I saw behind me.
What did you see behind you?
There was like a little hole, and I tried to jump and run away.
A little hole where?
So I swung and I threw my whole body into it. And I slipped on the grass while my knee was down and faced backwards.
You're not asking the witness to come down and demonstrate this again. I think it's a little hard for me to understand what's described.
If the witness feels comfortable doing that, do you feel comfortable getting out of the witness box and demonstrating?
Yeah.
Just again, please make sure to keep your voices up. I want to make sure that we capture any statements on the record.
You've described in your answers an interaction that I find hard to follow. I want you to show us what you mean by swinging, your knee going back. Demonstrate, please.
Punch his lawyer.
So I'm sitting here on the ditch. Like this. Everybody like this. And then you hit me. And I'm like this.
Okay.
And I swung. After I swung, I ended up like this. I was facing backwards.
I have some
When you say you're
issues.
facing backwards, which way are you facing now? Towards the road or towards the house?
There's the road.
What did you do next?
I was on my hands and knees and I tried to jump up.
Did you go to stab anybody else?
No.
Did you go to stab Mr. McGrath?
No.
You went to jump up?
Yeah.
Did something prevent you from being able to jump up, or did you succeed in jumping up?
As soon as I jumped up, I got hit again.
Where did you get hit?
On the left side of my head.
Do you know who hit you?
I believe it was Faison Teal.
Why do you believe it was Faison Teal?
Because I remember seeing the big dark color on.
What did you do next?
I fell on the pavement.
In the street or on the curb?
In the street.
You say you fell on the pavement. What did you feel?
I scraped my hands on the floor.
Where?
On the pavement.
Where did you scrape your hands? The tops, the bottoms, the fingers? Your palms?
Yes.
You had a knife.
How are you
in one
feeling at that
fist.
point emotionally?
How'd that happen?
Scared.
Why?
And once I was on the floor again, there's a chance that they could all surround me again.
Could you see Tyler DeSilva?
No.
Could you see the car that Jack Snyder was driving?
At that point, no.
What did you do next?
I tried to lunge myself up again. And then I dove towards the car.
Where were the kids that had been in the lawn prior?
In the road now.
Following you?
Yeah.
What happened next?
I got in the car.
Where did you get in the car?
The passenger seat.
Front? Rear?
Front.
Different than the seat you had been in when you went down to the house?
Yes.
Why did you get into the front passenger seat?
I was right there and I just wanted to get in as quick as possible.
Where was Tyler DeSilva?
At that point, he was not in the car.
Could you see where Tyler DeSilva was?
No.
What did Jack Snyder do?
He tried to drive off.
Without Tyler DeSilva in the car?
Yeah.
How did you feel when Jack Snyder did that?
I screamed and told him to wait.
Did there come a point when Tyler DeSilva got in the car?
Yeah.
Did you have the knife in your hand at this point?
No.
You put it back in your pocket?
No.
What did you do with the knife?
When I scraped my hands on the floor, the knife was on the floor.
The knife was on the floor?
Yes.
You're saying floor. You would agree there is no floor outside where you've been. What do you mean by floor?
Pavement.
A lot of people say the floor.
Did you see where it went?
No.
Did you try to pick it back up?
No.
Why not?
I just wanted to get to the car.
Did you see Tyler DeSilva with the knife when he got into the car?
I didn't really look back.
When Tyler DeSilva got into the car, did you see him then?
Yeah.
What did he look like?
His face was destroyed. He was holding his head in his hands.
Was he bleeding?
Yes.
Where?
All over his face. And it was blood dripping down.
What was he doing?
He was holding his head and screaming.
In pain?
And in anger.
Anger at the kids in the yard?
No.
Anger at you?
No.
Anger at who?
Jack.
Can we see Exhibit 60, please? Do we have it? Okay. We're going to watch Exhibit 60 here, Mr. Valle. What is this? 60. Can we just see the normal version? Young man, approach your secretary. Mr. Valle, you would agree that that video does not show the initial punch that you've described to the side of your face when the groups were standing up initially, correct?
Yes.
But you did see there at least one fight that's going on the ground, correct?
Yes.
That's not you, is it? Who's that? What was going on while we see Tyler De Silva being beaten on the ground there before we see you back at the car?
I was getting beat on.
Could you see yourself in that video?
In the beginning, you can see people hitting and attacking, but you can't see me.
Is that the splitting up of the two groups that you've described?
Yes.
One stayed to, as we look at that, the left of the screen, and one went over to the right of the screen?
Yes.
And as this video ends, we see a figure that's on the far right of the frame, but we don't see you, correct?
Yes.
Where was that figure standing in relation to the U or horseshoe shape that you've described?
On the end.
On the, when you say the end, what do you mean?
On the end of the horseshoe.
Was there somebody to that person's left?
Yes.
Was there somebody across the way from that person behind you?
Yes.
Did you know who that person was that was on the far right that we can see there at the end of the frame?
No.
Do you know now that that's a person named Jimmy McGrath?
Yeah.
You did not know him that evening? You described getting back into Jack Snyder's car. Tyler De Silva gets into the car. How are you feeling physically as you're sitting there in the car?
I was in a lot of pain.
Pain where?
My head. And the main thing I was noticing was my ribs.
What happened next? Did Mr. Snyder leave? Did you remain there in that place?
As soon as Tyler jumped in the back of the car, he instantly took off. We started driving.
Did you know where he was going at that point?
No.
Did you care where he was going at that point?
No, I just wanted to get out of there.
And where did Jack Snyder drive the car?
He was just driving straight. And then at one point I told him to stop the car.
Why did you tell him to stop the car?
I wanted to check my ribs.
You wanted to check your ribs?
Yeah.
Why couldn't you check your ribs just sitting there in the seat?
Because I wasn't able to stand up and look at my whole body.
Did he stop the car?
Yes.
What did you do?
Opened the door, immediately got out and used the car light, lifted up my shirt.
Used what car light?
As soon as you open the door, the car light turns on. I was facing the car, right in where the door turns, lifted up my shirt, looked at myself, and then jumped back in the car.
I want to be sure we understand this. When you say you're using the car light, do you mean the interior car light or the headlights on the car?
Interior car light.
So you're facing into the interior of the car?
Yes.
And what do you do?
Lift up my shirt and look at myself.
And what did you see?
A whole bunch of bruises, but it felt way worse than what it looked like.
As you're standing there, did you take the knife out of your pocket and throw it into the woods?
I didn't have the knife at that point.
You didn't have the knife at that point?
No.
Where was the knife?
To my understanding, it was on the pavement back over at 43 Laurel Glen.
Did you make a plan to go back and get the knife?
No.
Why not?
I didn't want to go anywhere near that house.
Did Jack Snyder indicate to you that he wanted his knife back?
No.
What happened after you got out of the vehicle and used the interior light to inspect your midsection?
It lasted like a second or two, and I jumped back in the car.
And what happened after you jumped back in the car?
Jack started driving.
Did you know where he was going?
No.
How were you feeling at that point?
Still terrified and shocked. And I looked down and I was shaking.
What was Tyler DeSilva doing?
He was still screaming at Jack and holding his head.
What was Jack Snyder doing?
Nothing.
Did there come a time when the car stopped again?
Yes.
Did you recognize where you were at that point?
No. I just saw a car I recognized, which was Mackenzie's sister's car.
Who is Mackenzie's sister?
Madison Traficante.
Okay. And where was that you saw her car?
I just remember seeing it in the street.
Was that a street that you recognized from earlier in the evening, or was this somewhere else?
I can't remember. I just remember seeing the car and instantly wanting to get out and go in that car.
And what did Jack Snyder do at that point?
Stop the car and let me out.
And what did Tyler DeSilva do at that point?
I didn't turn around. I don't know.
What did you do?
I went over and I got into Madison's car.
Where?
Behind the passenger seat.
Who else was in the vehicle when you got in?
Keenan and Dimitri.
Keenan Frasick?
Yes.
Dimitri Arfanis?
Yes.
Will Sinjwald?
No.
Will Sinjwald was one of the people that had come with you earlier in Jack Snyder's car, correct?
Yes.
He wasn't in Jack Snyder's vehicle when you got out of it?
No.
And he wasn't in Madison's car when you got into it?
No.
So in the vehicle at that point, it's just you, Madison, Mackenzie, Keenan, and Dimitri?
Yes.
Was the music on in the car?
Yes.
Were you texting in the group chat at that point?
No.
What was Dimitri Arfanis doing?
I didn't look over.
And what was Keenan Frasick doing?
As soon as I got in the car and it started driving, he was looking at me.
He was looking at you?
Yes.
What were you doing?
Holding my head.
What were you thinking?
I was just in shock, scared. I didn't really know what to think.
Did you call the cops?
No.
Why not?
I was just terrified. I didn't even know what to do. Or really what even happened.
And where did the car go?
Started driving to Keenan Frazek's house.
What happened there?
He and Dimitri got out.
He and Dimitri both got out at Keenan's house?
Yes.
So now it's just you, Mackenzie, and Madison in the car?
Yes.
And what's going on in the car at that point?
Nothing. I knew my girlfriend was still upset. Didn't want to talk or anything.
And what were you doing?
Holding my head and looking at myself. I was just shaking and I didn't even know what to do.
Where did the car go then?
We drove to my house in Milford.
How long did that take?
I can't remember.
Did there come a time when you arrived at home?
Yes.
What did you do then?
Before I opened my car door and I asked Mackenzie to talk to her.
Would she talk to you?
No.
What did you do?
I just walked up to my house.
Was anybody home?
Yes.
Who?
My mom and my little brother.
What were they doing?
They were packing to go to Florida.
What was their reaction when they saw you?
My mom just started screaming and crying. My brother was just like holding his mouth open.
Did you explain how you'd been injured?
At that point, I didn't really know what to say. I couldn't even understand really what had happened, detail for detail. I remember telling her that I got attacked by a whole bunch of people. She just kept screaming and crying.
What did you do then?
Started crying. And then I remember going upstairs to the bathroom, just washing myself off.
What time was this?
I don't really know.
Did you go to sleep?
No.
What did you do?
It was just, my mom was panicking. And she asked me if I wanted to come to Florida with her.
What did you do at that point?
I said yes.
Why?
Just wanted to be close to my mom.
Did you go to sleep at some point?
No.
Why not?
I couldn't sleep.
What made it so that you couldn't sleep?
Everything. The way I was feeling, mentally and physically, just, there was no way I was going to be able to sleep.
What did you do?
Everything was so fast. I think I packed like a little backpack, and then we left.
Okay. While you were packing, did anyone try to contact you?
Yes.
Who?
Mackenzie, my girlfriend at the time.
She sent you some texts.
Yes.
We saw those texts here, those exhibits.
Yes.
How did it make you feel when you read those texts as they were coming in from Mackenzie?
It just reminded me how I felt at the time when she was texting me and stuff.
to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 97. Well, I'm going to try. Okay. State's Exhibit 97. Do you remember those texts coming in?
Yeah.
And she writes, "Are you fucking serious? I hate you. Someone just called me and said you stabbed someone. You just ruined everything, Lito. Literally ruined everything for me. Answer the M phone. IDK, what to do? Everyone is texting me." I want you to read for us. What did you write back?
I didn't do anything. I wasn't there. Stop texting anyone. Stop answering.
I'll show you State's Exhibit 98. She says, "Lito, everyone knows who you are. Everyone knows you're my boyfriend. What do you say?"
I know.
"Lito, everyone's texting me. What do you say?"
Stop answering. What happened?
"Don't talk to me." What do you say?
Okay, stop answering anyone.
She says, "You fucked up, Lito." What do you say?
How? I wasn't there.
"If my parents find out," State's Exhibit 99, "stop saying that." You say what?
Okay, stop texting, please, guys.
"I'm not texting anyone." What do you say?
Don't text me. I'm going to Florida.
She says, "They're texting me. When? Lito, I need you to answer me, please." What do you say?
What, guys?
And she says, "I'm so scared. What's going on?" The State's Exhibit 100. "I'm shaking," she says. "Can you please tell me? I won't tell anyone. I swear." What do you say?
I can't text anything.
She says, "I'm so scared." And you say what?
I wasn't there.
She says, "What's happening?" And what do you say?
No, I wasn't there.
She says, "I'm so scared, Lito." "What's happening? Please answer me." What do you say?
Nothing is happening.
State's Exhibit 101. She says, "Can you please call me? Can you call me, please? When I get home." You say what?
Yes.
She says, "Lito, his sister just texted me. I'm so scared. I don't want to look." What do you say?
What did she say? Swipe it.
She says, "IDK, I'm so scared." And what do you say?
Don't answer anyone.
How fast were those texts going back and forth?
One right after another.
Were some of them coming in before you could finish the other one?
Yeah.
What were you thinking while you're writing those texts?
Overwhelmed and shocked. I just didn't want her to worry.
Were you thinking you could concoct some sort of a story that no one would know you'd been there?
I'm object. It's leading.
Sustained.
You knew you had been there, did you not?
Yeah.
Or objection. It's leading.
Sustained.
Yes, that'd be stricken.
Total strike the answer. Jury, please remove it from the notes.
Did you expect her to believe that you had not been there?
Objection. That calls for speculation as to what she would believe.
Can you hear the question again?
Did you expect her to believe that you had not been there?
I'd allow that.
Overrule, it goes to his expectations. You can answer.
No. I knew she knew I was there because she was with me.
Why did you say those things to her in that text?
Panicking, and I just didn't want her to worry at all.
At that point, did you think that someone had died?
No.
What did you do after this chain of texts?
I remember trying to call Tyler.
Tyler De Silva? Why did you try to call Tyler De Silva?
See if he was okay, what was going on. called him 3 times, but he never answered.
Have you spoken to Tyler De Silva since that night? What did you do next?
Went with my mom. We got in the car and we drove to the airport.
Where did you go?
Florida.
Was that the next day, May 15th?
Yes.
What did you do when you got to Florida?
We were getting out of the airport and we were going to a car rental. And that's when I found out what had happened.
When you say what had happened, what did you find out?
Like the injuries and stuff.
What did you find out?
That somebody died.
How did you feel when you learned that?
I kept saying, no way. Like, that's not possible.
What did you do next?
I went over to my mom and I told her.
Did you stay in Florida?
Yeah.
How long?
Like a day, maybe.
When did you return to Connecticut?
Not sure, a day or 2.
And did there come a time when you were contacted by the police?
My parents were. Not me.
And did you learn that the police were interested in your parents or interested in you?
In me.
And what did you learn about why they had contacted you?
That somebody had passed away.
Did you learn at some point that they had an arrest warrant for you?
Yeah.
How soon after you got back to Connecticut did you learn that?
I can't remember. It seemed like 4 days or something. It may have been shorter. I can't really remember.
When you learned that they had an arrest warrant for you, what did you do?
At the time when it came out, I was sleeping.
What time was that?
Middle of the day.
And what did you do at that point?
I woke up and I talked to my father.
Did you make arrangements to turn yourself in?
Yeah.
Did you go and turn yourself in?
Yeah.
Just one, John.
Oh, that's fine. Thank you.
Mr. De Silva, I am going to show you some exhibits that have already been entered. There's been testimony that these are from May 18th when you turned yourself in. Do you remember what time you went down to the Shelton PD to turn yourself in?
I remember it being really late at night.
Did you go by yourself?
No.
Who was with you?
My father.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 34. Do you remember this photograph being taken?
Yeah.
Where was that taken?
I believe it was at the show and police department.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 35. Is that taken at the same time?
Yes.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 36. that photograph also taken at the same time?
Yes.
Can you see in there your eye, what appears to be your left eye?
Yeah.
And does that accurately reflect the injuries that you had at that point?
At that point, yeah.
And I'm going to show you what has been marked as State's Exhibit 37. Is that the back of your head?
Yeah.
State's Exhibit 38. The left side of the back of your head?
Yeah.
And where do you recall getting hit that evening when you were first encountering the people on the lawn?
The back of my head.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 39. Is that your right arm inside near the elbow?
Yeah.
Do you recall how you got these 1, 2, 3 scratches and some bruising?
No.
Did you have that before you were on the lawn that night?
No.
I'll show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 40. Is that your right hand?
Yeah.
And how did you get this injury to the heel of your right hand?
I was trying to run back to the car. I got hit and my hand slid on the pavement.
This is State's Exhibit 41. How did you get this injury on the heel of your left hand?
The same as the one on my right hand.
Are you left-handed or right-handed, sir?
Right-handed.
I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 42 at the top of your right hand.
Yes.
And State's Exhibit 43 is at the top of your left hand.
Yes.
Did the police ever approach you and ask you if you wanted to perhaps talk to them in return for an immunity agreement from prosecution?
I'm going to object. Calls for hearsay as to what the police asked.
Can you excuse the jury for a moment?
He's going to have to lay foundation here.
So it calls for a yes or no response.
The question is also inflammatory. And it would also indicate, again, the defendant has Fifth Amendment rights, and there was testimony about the police going to try to talk to him. So now that it's out, I would submit that it's fair game for me to ask him on cross-examination whether or not he willfully went to the police to tell him his side of the story, which he did not. So with regards to what the police asked him, I think is hearsay. I think the question can be posed without content in the question. We can rephrase it without any content in the question. If it's a yes or no answer, then clearly it's leading as well.
Your Honor, I could rephrase as whether or not he was ever offered such an opportunity.
Again, it calls
certainly goes to his knowledge.
Okay, Attorney Smith, you could be walking down a slippery slope with that.
He opened the door.
Your client is subject to cross-examination. I don't know what the actions of the police department were at this point in time, but certainly it'll allow the state the opportunity to explore if in fact there was such communication or any questions or anything leading to such communication and or the decision. So
I understand. Again, I think that whether or not he was ever offered such an agreement is fair game as far as to ask the question. I don't intend to go any further into it beyond that. I am not aware of any offers being made to him to do so, to the extent that he was ever offered an opportunity to come down and speak with the police. I think that he can be asked about that.
I would also submit that the police department is not under the authority to offer him any type of agreement with regards to that. That comes from the state's attorney. So with regards to that, if he had a conversation with the state's attorney or this office, that would be the appropriate question. Outside of that, when the answer is no, then there's nothing further to explore.
Okay, so I want to be very clear here. So we're dealing with, first of all, a right to remain silent, potentially, post Miranda. We're also dealing with an improper form of the question relative to who has the authority to provide an immunity agreement. Obviously, it would not be the police who would provide the agreement. So if it's relative to asking what the state police, what the state's attorney's offer, that's one thing. The attorney needs to be in the question and not the police. And perhaps that's the appropriate way to get around the Miranda right, because
I can make it more general.
We're talking about what the police questioned the defendant and what was said, and we don't have to get into whether or not the defendant was willing to invoke his right to remain silent and speak.
I can make it more general, Your Honor, and simply ask him whether or not he was ever offered the opportunity to sign or whether he was offered an immunity. I can simply make it as
well, really,
general as that.
The question is inflammatory. I think we need to lay some type of foundation to get there. The question needs to be posed, did you ever speak to the state's attorney with regards to this investigation? No, I did not. The inquiry ends there. It doesn't go any further about any immunity agreement or anything else. So the question is inflammatory. It's being posed to inflame the jury's senses at this point. I think there's got to be a foundation to even get there.
He's here to testify, Your Honor. And I could simply ask him, are you here testifying today under any immunity agreement?
That's leading. So that's a leading question. So I'm here testifying on my own behalf.
Because a leading question is a question that
suggests the answer.
It suggests the
Correct.
answer. So if I were to say to you, you, sir, are not here today underneath an immunity agreement, are you?
It does call for yes, but it's not leading with respect to the response being contained in the question.
Right.
I will allow that question. The state's attorney is going to have an opportunity to cross-examine. However, the state's attorney should be very careful about approaching any type of.
But this is opening post Miranda inquiries now, because now the arrest warrant has been signed. He's entitled to Miranda warnings, and now we're being asked whether or not we're approaching him or he's approaching us for some immunity agreement post arrest.
And I will withdraw that question, Your Honor, with regard to the police officer. I will do that, and I'll do that in the jury's presence. But I do think that it's fair for me to ask him, sir, are you here today testifying under any immunity agreement? I don't see how that's unfair.
See, this cross-examination. If you offered one, you offered one.
Well, my concern now is if that is the question, I think it opens the door to any post Miranda question. That's all I'm saying. In other words, I should be.
Let me get into that a little bit further. Are you telling the court outside the presence of the jury that you did offer an immunity agreement? Because if you didn't, then it ends there.
There was no such conversation. It never was had. So if the conversation was had with this defendant, then it makes the subsequent question relevant. This question is not relevant. It's just, why are you here today? I'm here to testify. That's it. It has nothing to do with immunity.
I think his incentive to be here and testify, and whether or not he's testifying under an immunity agreement is fair game. Other witnesses have been here, and we've asked them about this.
The jury can infer he's not under an immunity agreement because he's charged with homicide and 3 counts of assault. So really, the question is inflammatory. He's being prosecuted.
He wasn't charged with 5 lazy broke.
Okay. So.
Good point.
Can we approach, please?
Oh, state prosecutor's mad. He's mad. The defense attorney says, well, he wasn't charged with 5 lazy broke. The guy's like, oh. Okay, this is extremely technical, right? We've got post-arrest interactions with prosecution and the police, the arm of the enforcement part of the prosecution side. What he said to police, what conversations went on post Miranda, that's the issue. The prosecutor, first of all, the prosecutor knows it looks really bad that he gave two people complete sweetheart deals that were involved in a big way. It looks bad, and he doesn't want to look bad. He knows the optics are terrible. He knows that you've got a fall guy and two people skated, and so now he's like, don't say that. I don't want you to say that in front of the jury, because then it's inflammatory. They might be like, yeah, this is totally unfair. Here's this guy who, if you believe his story, which the jury's entitled to do. Okay, I have some questions about his story. Some things about being. I've had a very hard time reaching into my pocket in the fetal position. I've never been able to do that successfully. Of course, I don't know exactly what clothes he was wearing, what the pocket was like, where it was, if it was a low pocket, high pocket, if it's on loose shorts, tighter shorts. I don't know. Okay, I have some questions about that. Fetal position, it's really hard to swing in the fetal position as well. When your arms are tucked in, his story doesn't sound complete to me, but that doesn't surprise me, because I have yet to hear a complete story in this case, unless it came from a medical professional. I will say that his story is consistent with a lot of other not all, but a lot of other testimony, including the video. It fits the description, and he has injuries on his hands that fit some of the description of stuff that was not in the video that he explained. It's adding up. I don't know where the knife went. It's very possible anyone could have picked that up or not seen it and not known it was related to a crime, or found out later it was related to a crime and like, oh crap, I don't want to get in trouble, and they throw it. I don't know. I don't know what happened. I'm not really concerned about the knife part. I'm a little worried that his injuries, understanding that we're filming a TV screen in a courtroom that's being rebroadcast. I mean, look at his shirt, looks yellow to me right now. Okay, the colors don't match up. We're not seeing the pictures as they really are, but he didn't appear to have the type of injuries that I would expect to see. I mean, where was his rib cage bruising? Did we get pictures of that? Did he? I mean, he should be black and blue about the ribs if he was taking blows and being stomped on. And he was. I mean, he's checking his ribs to see if he's got protruding bones, right? He wants to see how bad is it. It feels terrible. We don't have any pictures of that. At least they haven't been admitted. I can see a jury at this one citing self-defense in the three attacks. But the one with not Tyler De Silva, the one with Jimmy McGrath, he was swinging blindly. He doesn't know who hit him. He doesn't know if he connected. It's manslaughter. That's what I'm seeing on that one. I see manslaughter on that one, unless it was Jimmy who hit him, and he doesn't know. He just spun wildly. Also, another problem I have is that, as he says, he was just waving his arm wildly. The problem is waving your arm wildly to fend things off does not cause stab wounds. There was only one slice wound. That was to face on Teal. The rest were all direct in, direct out stabs, like a punch, a direct blow. Which doesn't add up. So the story is not very clear to me, but it also happened very quickly. Let's see if this comes back here. Are we back? I wonder what the decision is. I'm going to add to the withdrawn counter right now as the jury comes back in.
We'll stipulate on the record as to the presence of all jurors. Attorney Smith, you may continue.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Questions withdrawn.
Last question is withdrawn. Mr. Valle, you're here today testifying voluntarily.
Yes.
No promises, threats, anything like that have been made against you.
No. Are you asking if I was offered?
Objection. I said it be stricken.
But anything after yes, no, in response to the answer is going to be stricken from evidence. All right, it's non-responsive. Thank you.
Had you ever seen Jack Snyder's knife before that night?
No.
Have you ever seen Jack Snyder's knife since that night?
No.
Had you ever used a knife as a weapon before that night?
No.
Had you ever met Ryan Hines before that night?
No.
Had you ever met Faison Teal before that night?
No.
Had you ever met Tommy Connery before that night?
No.
Had you ever met Jimmy McGrath before that night?
No.
You told us before that you knew some of the folks at that party on social. Do you remember telling us that?
I believe so, yes.
What in the world does that mean, to know somebody on social?
On social gatherings, like parties, on social media, just that kind of thing.
Even these folks that you say you knew on social, did you feel like you knew them well?
No.
Did you want to kill any of those kids?
No.
Did you want to hurt any of those kids?
No.
What did you want to do when you were down there on that ground and all those fists were punching you and those legs were kicking you?
Get them away from me.
Why did you use that knife that Jack Snyder gave you?
I'm going to object. This is asked and answered at this point.
Felt like the only thing that was going to help me get out of that situation.
Thank you, Mr. Valle. Nothing further.
Thank you.
Here comes a break.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, we are going to move into our recess, so we will have our morning 15-minute recess, and then we'll come back for the cross-examination of Mr. Valle. All right? Court stands in recess for 15 minutes.
Okay, we've got a few things to talk about here. First of all, Melissa, I got your message, and thank you for the Daytona Beach drinking hardware. I appreciate that. Maybe this is what the beans are supposed to go in, but love it. Thank you very much. I'm not going to open the beans yet. If we look at this case and look at what Raul has testified to and what the prosecution witnesses testified to, I'm very surprised that there haven't been more charges, specifically on the other side. And maybe there have, then I've missed it. But some of these kids who admit to throwing the first punch and beating on Raul and Tyler before they did anything violent. They literally created the scenario which allows Raul to use a weapon, deadly force, in self-defense legally under the law. Whether it's right or wrong, bringing the knife, whatever else, the juror looks at it based on the law in Connecticut. The law in Connecticut, if you are in a place where you're allowed to be, they were invited, they were sent the address, they were said pull up. Granted, it was for a fight, but they were literally invited to be there. And private property like that, unless it's posted, you can walk onto somebody's property just fine, unless you get trespassed and told you can't leave. So I think you're fine with that. It's not like they had invaded somebody's home that was still on the outside, and they probably were still in the right-of-way area of the property. But that aside, he's somewhere where he's allowed to be or expected to be. He doesn't start the fight. He doesn't have opportunity to retreat, and he fears for his life. That checks all the boxes for self-defense. because he was not able to retreat. He said I was surrounded. I couldn't get up. I was unable to retreat. Yes, earlier he was there and they drove away. It's fine. It's a different scenario. The law looks at these separate. They'll be like, that one broke off. That was one engagement. That's done. No charges were filed for that first one. That first pull up in the car. Nobody got charged with like beating, kicking the car, breaking the windshield, all that. That's in the past. Okay. It's like Lion King. It's in the past. Doesn't matter. Next approach, they come up to talk. The two come up to talk. That is a new incident from a legal standpoint. And without the ability to retreat, the requirement to retreat only exists if it's possible. If you're not able to retreat, then you don't have to literally try running backwards or something. So I think from a legal standpoint, he's good, at least on the first three. The three people that were stabbed, I believe all three admitted to beating on him. Some of them even throwing the first punches before he had done anything. So I think he's covered on those three. I would be very surprised if there's a guilty verdict on that. The last one with Jimmy McGrath, it's a little foggier. Okay, you've got him saying that's in defense of others with Tyler Da Silva, that he tries to go back there. You know, what kind of man would I be to get in the car and drive away? Well, 2 seconds later, got in the car and saying, let's go. And Tyler was on the ground. Tyler was not with them then. So that's an interesting argument. The blindly swinging, it's reckless endangerment. It could be all the way up to manslaughter. I think nobody's proven from the state side that he intended to kill anyone. Although you can say blindly swinging a knife around is dangerous, and you could assume that it would cause death. I think it would be pushing a little bit to say you can assume that he intended to kill, but so possibly overcharged on that one. But I think he's going to get a conviction at least on the Jimmy McGrath charge. I don't think the jury would find at this point, even before cross-examination, which I'm just going to say I think it's going to be brutal. The state's attorney is really, really good. I don't think the jury is going to let him go just on self-defense. Why does it sound like we're underwater scuba diving? Is that just for you, or does my mic sound out to anybody? It might just refresh it if you're having some audio problems. Jimmy's killing is not self-defense, and it was not from swinging the poke. It was direct in the chest. Yeah, the wounds were straight stabs. They were, with the exception of Faison. So this was. I mean, you could be swinging your arm blindly, but you're swinging with the knife, leading with the knife and following straight through and making direct contact every time. I don't know about that one. Let's see. Thoughts on this. I know I'm not always correct or not always agreed with. It's manslaughter, not murder. It's crazy how many times I feel I see prosecution overcharged a lot of cases we watch. Sarah, I'm also surprised that they went with murder and gave two people complete deals. Two people who were involved. Jack, the driver. Oh my goodness. There just seems to be a lot of room where he could, potentially have some liability in this one. With him actively seeking out the fight, where Raul says he didn't know they were going to go into a fight, and him going there and getting the knife out and giving it to Raul. Yeah. All right. The Florida thing. I don't think he was on the run to Florida for a day. I believe that seems weird that the family just had an extra ticket. It's like, sure, we'll just fly down. I don't know. I'm not in that tax bracket where I can just on a whim just go fly somewhere. They're too expensive. Tickets are too expensive. So maybe that's his life. I don't know. But maybe they already had tickets and she was asking, do you want to go to Florida with me? Would you rather stay here? That's a possibility. Ricky, I agree. I think pretty much everybody who participated in that fight initially at that second party should face charges and should honestly, have trouble sleeping at night because of the outcome. When you start something like that and it goes south, I think you have some moral accountability there. Red Pen says, I feel pretty strongly in favor of self-defense in this case. I don't think he felt he could retreat and saw the same scenario for his friend. The defense of others things, that adds up. That him re-entering the fray at that point to defend his friend and then claiming he got hit again, but then the swinging wildly. Had he said, I got punched and I tried to counter swing, that might imply that Jimmy had been the one that punched him. But I don't know. At this point, Jimmy could have been an innocent bystander next to somebody who punched him and got stabbed. And it's not against the law to watch the fight. It's not. I mean, it's stupid, but yeah. Amber, thanks for your text. I'll look for it here. What did you say here? Yes, please be respectful in chat for everybody. That would be great. They all need consequences. Telling the girlfriend he wasn't there was probably just to calm her down. He didn't tell the police he wasn't there. We don't know. We might hear on cross-examination. Depends what the state's able to get into, what the judge will allow. Exactly what he did tell the police or didn't tell the police. I believe he didn't. Was more likely the outcome. Murder because he returned to the property with intent to do harm by carrying a knife. Artemis, carrying the knife is not intent. He's testified on this one that Jack threw the knife to him. This was stricken, was struck from the record. I made up new words there. That Jack threw the knife to him and said, just in case. He was like, what's this for? You know, why? And he was confused and like, whatever, and put it in his pocket and hadn't taken it out again until he was getting beat in the fight. I'm not sure if I believe that wholly. Don't believe that Jack threw the knife to him. Jack also testified that he gave him the knife. Why did Raul feel the need to headbutt the first kid at the party with the helmet? I don't know. Maybe I think the prosecution is going to go into that one a little bit. But defense has a point. He's not getting charged with any of that. He's not being charged with anything in that first fight. Who of the witnesses have said they saw him stab Jimmy? The last two witnesses. The Mr. Connor, was it Connery? Charlie Connery, I think was his name, and the second to last witness, the girl who testified with the brown hair. Can't remember her name. She says she watched it happen. Ooh, earthquake in the courtroom. Connecticut, please check in. Is everybody safe? Somebody kicked the tripod, I think. Yeah, we're not quite square. Oh, it was so good before. Yeah, we're out of square now. We're about 2 degrees counterclockwise. 2 out of 30-something? Correct. And most of them said they didn't see the knife. They just saw the action. The only one that saw the knife was a kid that saw him with the knife when he was away from the party, like down the street. There was one witness, I think, that saw that. And the last one who testified that the younger brother of the two, the Connery brothers, yelled, "He's got a knife." But in his testimony, he testified that he didn't actually see the knife until after he yelled, "He's got a knife," which doesn't really pass the smell check. Something's wrong there. It was Taylor Capella. She was the one who testified that. I'm in Connecticut. No earthquake here. I was just in the courtroom, particularly with the camera, I think. Still laughing about the slingshot from yesterday. That was a funny little comment in court. Okay, there you go. Look, this smart cameraman moves the line to the edge of the screen and then uses that to square it up. It's square now. You did it. It's perfectly perpendicular. My OCD thanks you. Virginia fixed it. Do we know if there will be lesser included? Not until the charging. I won't know until the charging conference. I don't know how it works in Connecticut, if one side's allowed to ask for it or both sides can ask for it. Sometimes if the defense wants them, they get put on regardless of if the prosecution wants them. If the defense rests, will there be closing arguments today? Maybe. I think we'll get closing arguments today. Yes, there are lessers. Thank you, Lizzie. I wonder how far down the lessers go. I'm not feeling the state seal, people, says Kurt from Uncivil Law. The state seal kind of sucks. Kurt, don't knock Connecticut state seal. It's got leaves on it. It's got oak leaves. I think those are oak leaves. Truth, equity, and justice. Plus, they've got, it's not like Wyoming, okay, where you can just draw a box on the paper and that's your state. They've got a tough coastline to draw. So they've got that on there. It does look like it was made in Photoshop, and the spacing on the letters is a little wonky, with the C touching the H down there in branch. The J in judicial looks like it's a few font point sizes too large because it goes down below the line. But okay, Kurt, you're right. It does suck. It does suck just a little bit. So it was a clip art. It was clip art. It was created by the lowest bidder. It's a government job, Kurt. You get what you get. All right. Sometimes we mock the state court. Some states have just fantastic seals. Michigan has a great one with a beaver? What is it, a badger? I forget what it is. It's got a good one. Wisconsin as well. All right. Tara Allen, good point. I get worse scratches and bruises after gardening. Yeah, he did not look like he just was on the losing end of a 10-on-1 battle. Even 5 days after. I mean, I'm squinting. Granted, the pictures might not do it justice. Maybe the jury sees something we don't, but it did not look like, aside from his hands, which makes sense. I was saying, how do you get injured on the palms of your hands when you're holding a knife? Well, you get injured on the palm of your hand by a heel by holding something when you fall. That makes sense, and I can see that. So, yes, RA has been overseas. I have, a few times. Spent a summer in Norway, Joe. Where, I don't mean to brag, but I will, where I won a beauty contest. Well, a photo contest. I like to think it's a beauty contest. I won a national beauty contest. Okay, I took second place in a beauty contest in Norway. How many people can claim that? Granted, I was, 10 years old, and I was wearing the shortest, whitest swimming suit known to man, and I was holding a crab on a string with a mussel out in front of it. I was very excited about catching that. All right. What about the Halloween costume? Yeah, I've won that costume. I've won a Halloween costume contest that I made the costume myself. I'm just a winner. Second out of how many? It was a national contest. Basically, everyone in the nation submitted their best, and I came out on top. Well, second to top. I lost to a bird's nest, okay? So I'm not proud about that part, but second is still pretty good. Picker, it never happened. I will find that pic, and I will share it, and I'll probably never be able to live it down. I think my mom has it. Mom, if you're watching, I need the I need the picture. Ivan, we don't know the jury demographics in this one. We have not heard. I believe it's 12 and 4 though, 12 and 3 now. We had one dismissed. Crochet Nana, I don't remember exactly what the judge said. She told the jury what the schedule was, But she did say that tomorrow there will be no court, which is great because we're going to be here watching the Brian Kohberger case tomorrow as he has that plea hearing, where he's going to be changing his plea according to all accounts. So that'll be tomorrow. Then Thursday will be the closing arguments and deliberation. We'll have Thursday night podcast, and then I'm headed out on Friday with 4th of July for a little family fun time. Mama watches. I don't think she does. I don't think she's ever watched. And she's never even asked what my channel name is. She never even watches me. No, just kidding. I would fib to get off this jury, Susanna D. Closing and jury instructions on Thursday. This might be a quick one. This might be quick. It's been when's the last really fast verdict we've had? Like same day deliberation. Didn't hear one of the jurors was dismissed. Why? Marlene, we didn't hear why either, but it came right after one of the witnesses for the state was testifying, and he kept looking up at the jury box at one particular individual over and over and over. Like he'd start testifying and he'd lock eyes with that individual. And I think it's because a jury member didn't realize they did happen to know one of the witnesses and hadn't disclosed it. Once that comes out, they say you're excused, and it's okay. I mean, it doesn't cause any problem beyond that. I'd put money on that's what happened. Daybell was pretty fast. Okay, I didn't watch that one though. They basically had pre-filled out the form. The jury was ready on that one. Bookbug for Life says, I don't believe Raul Valle. So hope there are other defense witnesses to help this case a bit. I don't think there are. I think this is our only one. She was dismissed because she knew one of the witnesses' family. Well, the witness recognized her. I can tell you that much. That was pretty obvious. I've never been in a situation like Raul described with that many people attacking me. I have been attacked and feared for my life. I've been attacked by somebody with a gun. I've been pistol whipped. Did nothing wrong other than just went to a high school basketball game and was walking to the bus stop. It was a championship game because my team was winning state championships. Losing team, some people pulled over, started yelling at us, and jumped out and attacked me. But I realize it can happen really, really fast, and trying to piece it back together afterwards is difficult. But not sure. Yeah, I got pistol whipped. That's when you get hit with the butt of the gun. This was a revolver, a big. I think like Dirty Harry type, like 357, 44, something like that. It was a big chrome revolver with like walnut grips, and I caught that grip. He twisted it backwards and hit me upside the head right here on this side. I'm showing it in reverse as I look on the camera. On the right side, and I spun and punched as well, and then I ran and jumped a fence. But I don't remember. I like cleared the fence, and it was a big fence. I look back, I don't remember how I got over it. Yeah, high school was wild. They never got the guys. We don't know who it was.
Good morning, Your Honor.
All right.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Red Bull gave me wings.
You may be seated. Thank you, everyone.
Here we go.
I'll ask Mr. Valle to please retake his position in the stand.
Okay, cross-examination. This could be brutal.
You do remain under the obligations of your oath, okay?
You will brang the jury. I think what's important for defense right here is his lawyer needs to get really good at objecting. I think Raul can get pushed into a corner pretty quickly by this prosecutor, and you need to give him time to regroup his, to center, regroup his thoughts, get back on balance. We'll see how well defense does with objecting here.
All right, counsel, please stipulates the return of all of our jurors.
Defense stipulates, Your Honor.
Thank you. Attorney Durso, if you'd like to cross-examine.
Does it bring the heat?
May 14th of 2022, you go to Lazy Brook Road for a party at Madigan Lifer's house, correct?
Yes.
That's you to the right there in the Ole Miss football shirt,
Yes.
the light blue shirt,
Yes.
black pants with the helmet on, right?
Yes.
That's you. You said that you got there around what time?
I want to say around 9 or 10.
9 or 10. You were there you testified on direct examination. You were there for about an hour and a half, correct?
Yeah.
People arrived at some point after an hour and a half, correct?
Yeah.
Ryan Hines and Griffin Marcinzik, you didn't know them, right?
No.
But those are the two that showed up at Lazy Brook Road at that point, right?
Yeah.
And when they got to Lazy Brook Road, Jack, Tyler, and yourself confronted those two, right?
When I first got there, no.
Because Madigan Lifer didn't want anybody else in her house. So you were under the assumption that if they left, you guys could stay, right?
No, she asked everybody by the door.
I'm gonna move to strike as non-responsive as to what Madigan Lifer said.
Court is going to sustain the objection. I am going to go ahead and strike everything after the response no, as unresponsive and yes, sir. Thank you.
So at some point in time, let me ask you this. How long was Ryan and Griffin at Lazy Brook before you, Jack, and Tyler got involved with them?
I want to say a couple of minutes.
Couple minutes, right? So they show up. Ryan walks down with his beer in his hand, right? And at some point you talk to Ryan and Griffin with Jack and Tyler, right?
Yes.
And at some point in time, you say to them, you can come in if you give me some beer, right?
I was the only one who said that.
You're the only one that said that.
Yes.
And Jack and Ryan gave you a beer, right?
He did not.
And at some point in time, it got heated between the three of you and Griffin and Ryan, right?
Just between Jack and Ryan.
And at some point in time, that went outside, right?
Yes.
So within the span of a few minutes, it went from give me a beer to going outside into the driveway, right?
Yes.
Okay. And out in the driveway, there was a group of people surrounding the area, right, from the party.
Scattered, yes.
Right. And you said, I think you said on direct examination, there were about 30 people at this party. You remember saying that?
Inside, I think there was more.
Okay, so there was 30 people inside, and then there was maybe 20 outside?
No, there was probably like 10 people outside.
There was only 10 people outside. 10 people including you, or 10 people excluding you?
Including me.
Okay, and who was outside?
At the time, I didn't really look at faces.
Right, you weren't paying attention, right?
Yeah.
You just kind of scanned the area, and you said, oh, there's about 10 people here, right?
No, I didn't really look around to see how many.
You have no clue who was outside then at that point. That's what you're telling us?
Yeah.
Okay. And you don't know if there were girls outside or boys outside at that point, right?
No.
You just know that there were bodies. You weren't paying attention.
Yeah.
And when you go outside, at some point there's an argument going on between Ryan and Jack, right?
Yeah.
And you're witnessing it.
Yeah.
And you're outside, in fact, with this helmet on at the time, are you not?
Yes.
And when you're outside and you're looking at this argument that is going on between Jack and Ryan, at some point in time they square up, right?
Yes.
And they square up because they're going to fight for the beer, right? Jack had taken the beer from him at that point.
Yeah.
Right? And he wanted his beer back. Ryan wanted his beer back.
Yes.
And when they square up, Ryan's standing squared up to Jack. Jack's across from Ryan, right?
Yes.
And to Jack's back left is Tyler De Silva, correct?
Yes.
And behind Ryan is you, right?
Off to the side, yeah.
Right? And you're wearing that helmet at that point, right?
Yes.
And you testified on direct examination. They squared off. Hines stepped on my foot and I pushed him. Do you remember saying that?
Yes.
You pushed him.
Yes.
want to show you State's Exhibits 58. Stop right there. So this is this person right here to the left in the blue shirt. Who's that?
Tyler De Silva.
Can I get this? So this person right here is who?
Tyler De Silva.
And this person in the red is who?
Jack Snyder.
So right now you're behind. We can't see you, but you're right behind Ryan Hines, right?
Yes.
All right. Okay. Can you play this? Stop. Is that you pushing Ryan Hines in the head?
That's me pushing Ryan Hines, yes.
So that right there, that's a push, not a punch. That's what you're testing. That's what you want these ladies and gentlemen to believe, that that was a push, not a punch.
Yes, I remember pushing him.
Can you play the fast version, please? We'll stop it there. Can you shut the volume on? So right there, what you want these ladies and gentlemen to believe is that you just pushed Ryan in his head, not punched him. That's what you're telling them.
I'm saying that I remember pushing him.
But the video would contradict what you want these ladies and gentlemen to believe at this point, correct?
I remember pushing him.
But the video, that's not responsive to my question. The video does not corroborate what you just told these ladies and gentlemen of the jury, correct?
I just remember pushing him.
Non-responsive. Did you push him in the head or did you punch him in the head? You remember pushing him, but does the video show you pushing or punching him? That's my question.
I pushed him.
What does the video show?
Me pushing him?
So you want these ladies and gentlemen to believe that what just happened there is a push, not a punch, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you also told these ladies and gentlemen of the jury, at some point during this fight, you go over and you try to get Ryan off of Jack, right? Is it Jack? Because at that point the fight was on, and Ryan tackles Jack, right?
Yes.
And your testimony was that at some point, Tyler De Silva gets in and does the same thing, right?
Yes.
That's what you remember, right?
Yes.
But isn't it true that Tyler jumps in and also punches Ryan when he's on the ground?
I think so. I don't remember that happening.
Isn't it also true that at some point in time towards the end of this fight, you use the helmet that's on your head and you slam it into Ryan's head?
That's not true, no.
That's not true? Is that not what you remember? Or is that what you're saying is that the video is false?
I never did that.
You never did that? Okay. So let's play the rest of this video and then we'll go to the slow-mo. That's you right there in the helmet back there, right? You grab a wine at the tech. Keep going. Keep going. Stop. That's you right there, right?
Yes.
And you have a helmet on, right?
I had the helmet on a lot at the time.
Play it. Okay, now we'll play the slow motion. Now you just saw the helmet slam down on Ryan, right? And you heard the crack of the helmet on Ryan's head?
I didn't slam the helmet down on him at all.
So you want these ladies and gentlemen to believe that you did not slam the helmet into Ryan's head when he was on the ground?
Yes.
Is that what you remember, or are you saying the video is false?
I don't really see that in the video.
Okay, let's play the slow-mo version.
You're about to.
So here's the punch, or what you're saying is a push.
Watch the helmet.
There you are here with the helmet, right?
Keep an eye where the helmet was. Let's forward a little bit.
Here's you right in here. Ready? Slam. That's you right there, slamming the helmet to Ryan's head, right?
I never slammed him with the helmet.
Okay, so the video's alive. That's what you're saying. So counsel asked you before if you ever had carried a weapon before May 14th of 2022. Isn't it true that you used the helmet as a weapon at Lazy Brook that night?
No.
Looks like
at some point in time, Lifer's mother comes out and kicks everybody out, right? But that's about 15, 20 minutes after this fight is over?
Yeah.
And after that, after you guys are kicked out, you get into Jack's car, the Honda Pilot?
Yes.
And you had no idea what you were going to do, so you guys were driving over to Trumbull High School, right?
Yes.
And when you were driving over to Trumbull High School, isn't it true that during that ride, you were laughing and joking about how you just got into a fight and hurt Ryan Hines?
No.
You never said that? And as you're going over to Trumbull High School, it's you in the back seat behind Jack, right?
Yeah.
Jack's driving.
Yes.
Tyler's in the front seat.
Yes.
In the middle seat is who? Will Sinjwald, correct?
Yes.
And to the right of him is Keenan Frasick.
Yes.
Mackenzie's on your lap.
Yes.
And Dimitri's in the back.
Yes.
And when you're driving over there, you indicated on direct examination you had your phone on you at that point, right? As a matter of fact, you had your phone all night, right?
Yes.
And at some point in time, you're added to a group chat, right?
Yes.
When you go over to Trumbull High School, had the group chat already started before you get to Trumbull High School?
I believe so, yes.
Right. So you knew that because you were already added, right?
I can't remember if I got added when we got to Trumbull or on the way there.
Isn't it true that Anthony Greco added you at 11:10 p.m. on Saturday, May 14th, 2022 to the group chat?
I can't remember, but yeah.
Well, who's Anthony Greco? You know Anthony Greco, right?
Football team.
Play football. You went to St. Joe's with you, right?
Yes.
He was at Lazy Brook that night at some point? Did you see him at Lazy Brook?
No, I don't remember seeing him.
But he added you to this chat nevertheless, right?
Yes.
Okay. And that was at about 11:10 p.m.?
I guess so, yeah.
And you indicated on direct examination you were on your phone, checking the text group messages. You're talking to Will Sinjwald next to you, and you're talking to Mackenzie, right?
Yes.
And while you were doing all those things, you also had an opportunity to see that Jack was on his phone also, right?
Yes.
And you saw that Tyler was on his phone, right?
Yeah.
And when you get to Trumbull High School, how long are you there for? About 20 minutes?
I can't remember exactly how long we were there for.
When you get to Trumbull High School, you have a conversation with Jack and Tyler about fighting these kids at Trumbull High School, correct?
Oh, never.
Isn't it true that you were in the group chat telling kids to come show up to Trumbull High School to fight?
Yes. I remember telling them to come to Trumbull High.
Right. Because you, in this group chat, you're saying Trumbull High, slide. Right now, RN, right now, Trumbull High, slide, right?
Yes.
Because at that point, you wanted to meet those kids to fight, right?
No, we were about to be leaving Trumbull, and at the time I thought it would be funny.
So you wanted to meet those kids at Trumbull High School to fight, right?
No.
So at some point in time, you leave Trumbull High School?
Yes.
And before you leave Trumbull High School, you're again asking them, Trumbull High, slide, right? Slide means come here?
Yeah.
And at some point in time, you're in the group chat and you realize that the other kids are talking about an address, right? They said, we're going to drop the Addy, right? Does that mean address?
You're saying the other kids were saying that?
Yeah, people were talking about giving you an address. Someone was saying, we'll drop the Addy, right? You remember hearing that, seeing that in the group chat?
No, I remember just seeing the address.
Okay. you recall when someone indicated that we dropped the Addy, you said send it in the group chat?
No, I don't remember that.
May approach the witness, Your Honor. But looking at the document, help to refresh your recollection?
Yeah.
That's you, right? Is your memory refreshed?
It says my name, but I don't see the number.
Somebody else have your phone that night?
I don't remember.
Somebody else you know named Lito?
I don't remember now.
No. So do you recall asking for the address in the group chat that says send it?
No.
You don't recall that? Are you saying that this is not you in the group chat?
It says my name, but there's no number.
Okay. Again, at some point in time later in the group chat, you say Laurel Glenn, correct?
No.
You don't? May approach the witness. Would looking at a document help to refresh your recollection?
Sure, yeah.
Lito, does that refresh your recollection?
Again, it says my name, but not my number.
So let me ask you this, Mr.
Did it refresh your recollection, yes or no?
No?
So let me ask you this. You recall being added to the group chat by Anthony Greco at 11:10 p.m. on May 14th of 2022, correct?
Yes.
You recall that?
Yes.
And you also recall telling the kids to slide to Trumbull High School, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, do you recall whether or not your name was Lito in the group chat?
When you join a group chat, it's just your number.
It's just your number. But if somebody has your number, your name in their phone, it would say your name, correct?
Pretty sure it would still be just a number.
But would looking at a document help to refresh your recollection as to whether or not you told people to slide over to Trumbull?
No, I knew I said that.
You knew you said that, right? So if we had a group chat with your name on it, and that is corroborated in here that you told them to slide, wouldn't it also be true that if your name is in this group chat subsequent and you told them to drop the address, send it, that would also be you? Or is there two Litos that you know of?
I can't see the number. It just says my name.
Right. So wouldn't it stand to reason that Lito is you in the group chat?
I guess so, yeah.
You just don't recall saying these things, right? That's your testimony today?
I only ever remember saying the Trumbull High thing.
Right. You don't recall asking them to send their address at Laurel Glen. That's what your testimony is, right?
Yeah.
And you don't recall reiterating the address that was sent, Laurel Glen. You say Laurel Glen, right? You actually say it twice in the group chat, but you don't recall that, right?
No.
That's your testimony today?
Yes.
And then at some point in time, you make your way from Trumbull High School over to 43 Laurel Glen, which is Tyler Rich's house, right?
Yes.
You didn't know it at the time, but that's Tyler Rich's house. You've met Tyler Rich before?
Yes.
Where have you met him before?
Parties.
What kind of parties?
High school parties.
Have you ever been to high school parties in the Berries? You know where the Berries are in Shelton?
No.
No, you don't? You ever recall going to a party on Mulberry, Strawberry, Edelberry, any type of street with a Berry last name in Shelton? You ever recall seeing Ricky Fiola at those parties?
Yeah, I've been to parties in Shelton.
Right. And you ever recall seeing Matt Lockovich at those parties?
Yes.
Yeah, you've met him before, right? As a matter of fact, you've had a fight with Matt Lockovich a week before this incident, correct? At one of those parties?
No, never.
So you drive over from Trumbull High School, and you indicate a couple cars were there when you got to 43 Laurel Glen, right?
Can you repeat that?
When you drove over from Trumbull High School and you got to 43 Laurel Glen, you indicated on direct examination there were a couple of cars there, right?
Yeah.
We pulled up and saw girls from St. Joe's High School. Oh, I'm sorry, withdrawing. You indicated that when you got there, you saw other cars parked in the street, right?
Yes.
And there wasn't that many people outside at first, right? I noticed a few kids, right? Isn't that what you said on direct examination?
Yeah, not that I could see at first.
And at some point, people came out of the house, right?
Like everyone came out of the house.
Right. And people came out of the house because you texted them in the group chat, "We here," right?
No.
Do you recall doing that?
No.
Would looking at a document help to refresh your recollection?
Sure.
And approach the witness, Your Honor.
Now we start to see why the state is a little confident with
Remember
their
it
case.
refreshed?
Yeah, I never said that.
So somebody else had your phone at that point.
No, again, it says my name, but not my number.
So there's another person named Lito in the group chat.
Anybody can name anybody they want in the group chat.
But you would agree with me that in the group chat it says, from Lito, we hear, right?
It just says Lito.
And then it says we hear, right?
Yes.
So at that point in time, people come out of the house, right?
Yes.
And when the people come out of the house, what time of night would you say it was when people came out of the house when you were in front of 43 Laurel Glen?
I can't remember.
You don't remember, but it was dark out.
Yeah.
It was late, clearly after 11, right?
Yes.
Probably sometime before 11:30-ish.
I don't know.
You don't recall?
No.
And you indicated that you saw people come out and there were about 30 people that came out at that point, right?
That I could see, yeah, but I know there was more.
You knew there were more? How did you know there were more?
There was people behind those 30 people.
There was people behind the 30 people. So you counted each and every one of those people that came outside?
No, it's just an estimate.
It's just an estimate, right? So there could have been 20, right?
It looked like way more than 20 people.
Right, but it could have been 20, right?
Yeah.
So at some point in time, you indicate that Snyder stopped his car, saw a yard and kids coming out to the car, right?
Yes.
And by the way, at some point in time, you leave the chat at like 11:32 p.m. Do you recall doing that?
Yes, that was before we arrived at the house.
Before you arrived at the house. So you left the chat. According to the chat, Lito left the conversation. You recall that happened?
Yes.
Okay. So you recall getting in the conversation. You recall getting out of the conversation. You only recall a few things that you said, but you think the other person named Lito in the conversation could be somebody else.
I remember why I left.
That mischaracterizes the testimony. He has not said he believes there's another person named Lito in the group chat.
So you recall saying some things in the chat. You just don't recall saying everything in the chat. Is that a fair statement of your testimony?
I only ever said the things about Trumbull High School.
Okay, so the other things that are in the chat,
If he left the chat,
that would be inaccurate, according to you.
Yes.
Okay. So you were going over there to fight, correct?
No.
And when you got there, kids surrounded the car, right?
Yes.
And you indicated that on direct examination, there were rows of people, 10, then maybe 30, right?
Yes.
Jack was talking, Tyler was talking because kids had approached the car at that point.
Yes.
You indicated kids you knew were there because you texted them in the group chat, right?
Never said that.
You said that on direct examination, right?
No. I said my window was up when all the kids came. When I recognized a few people, I put my window down.
And who did you recognize?
Ricky Fiola, Nikki DeJesus, and Ayden King.
So you spoke to Ayden King when he came next to the car at that point, right?
I spoke to all three of them.
Right. And you told Ayden King at some point when it got aggressive that tell your friends to get away from the car. I'm going to break a bottle over somebody's head.
No, I never said that.
And there were a few kids shouting at Jack at some point, right?
Yes.
And it became aggressive, according to you?
Yes.
But at first it was a peaceful conversation, right? According to you? Peaceful?
Mine was, yes.
And it got aggressive?
Yes.
But you didn't see anybody throw anything at that point, right?
No.
And then you indicated on direct examination you couldn't see anybody outside. So you only saw the three people you knew, Ayden, Ricky, and who was the third?
Nikki DeJesus.
So Nikki, Ayden, and Ricky you saw. That's it.
Yes.
You couldn't hear any threats, right?
I heard them screaming, but
you couldn't hear any threats, right?
I couldn't make out what they were saying.
And at some point you indicated on direct examination people were hitting the car on all sides, right?
Yeah, before that happened, somebody punched Jack in the face.
I'm going to move to strike as non-responsive.
Sustained. Court's going to strike the witness's response after, yeah. Okay, so the rest of that response, please strike from your notebooks. You took notes on it. It's not to be considered evidence. Okay.
So you indicated on direct examination people hitting the car on all sides, correct?
Yes.
And all I heard was banging, right? Yes. Didn't hear glass shattering, right?
No, I don't think so.
And the car began to rock, right?
Yes.
You indicated on direct examination you were panicking, right?
Yes.
This was never like anything you've been through before, right? This was scary, right?
Yes.
And at that point, you couldn't get out, right? You said that on direct.
There was no way to get out, no.
Because there were so many people, right?
Yes.
And at some point, you thought to yourself, this is not a good idea, right, to be here?
I just remember being scared. My girlfriend was crying. And I remember telling that Jack to drive.
To drive, right? So Jack drove down the street, right?
Yes.
And when Jack drove down the street, at some point he stopped, right?
Yes.
At some point, was Jack driving up and down the street? You remember Jack driving up and down the street?
I don't remember that, no.
You don't remember that? Could have happened, but you don't remember?
Yeah, no, I don't remember that.
You don't remember. But at some point in time, he drives down the street, right? State Exhibit 1, you indicate that Jack drives down the street and at some point stops in front of the house near where we previously identified it as 36 Laurel Glen, correct?
Yes.
And it's at that moment that that Mackenzie gets out of the car.
Yes.
And she's walking away.
Yes.
And then you get out of the car at some point, right?
Yes, right after.
While you're getting out of the car, you're pissed off and you say, holy shit, they really fucked up your car, Jack. Give me the knife. Where's the knife? Give me the knife, right?
No. Immediately after I got out, or Mackenzie got out.
A move to strike is non-responsive. Everything after no.
Court is going to go ahead and strike the response after the witness indicated the word no. Please discard that from your notes. Thank you.
Now, you get out of the car.
They don't let him talk
with the knife, correct? At this point?
No.
Because according to you, on direct examination, Jack gave you the knife when you got out of the car at that point, correct?
Yes.
So you did get out of the car with the knife at this point, right? When
Objection, Your Honor. That mischaracterizes the testimony. He did not testify that he got out of with the knife.
So the witness indicated yes. I'm going to go back to the last question. I'm going to hear the last question again.
So Jack gave you the knife when you got out of the car, correct?
I was already outside of the car, yes.
And he gave you the knife at that point, right?
Yes.
And he gave you the knife when you got out of the car, at that point when the car initially stopped, right? Car stops, you get out, you get the knife, right?
Yes.
So you're in possession of the knife when you initially get out of the car on May 14th of 2022, right?
No.
Objection, Your Honor. I think that mischaracterizes the testimony.
Yes, sustained.
When you get out of the car stops in front of 36 Laurel Glen. You get out of the car, right?
After Mackenzie, yes.
Mackenzie's walking down the street, right?
Yes.
And when you're out of the car, Jack gives you the knife, right?
Tosses it at me, yes.
Right. And at some point after that, Tyler De Silva gets out of the car and walks around the car towards you, right?
No, Tyler De Silva was already next to me when that happened.
So it's your testimony that Tyler was next to you when Jack throws you the knife. That's your testimony.
As I remember it, yeah.
I'm going to show you states 44 here.
Yes, this courtroom is very strict on answer just the question. Yes, no, that's it. Anything else is unresponsive. Prosecutor using that to his benefit. The defense has not. White balance just adjusted. Lito's kept the same answering style with the prosecution, which generally comes across as being truthful.
This is states 44. This person right here, standing right here with the dark pants and the shirt, is that you? Can you see where I'm pointing? Is that you out of the car?
Yes.
So you're in front of the car, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And at some point we see Tyler De Silva get out of the car and walk next to you, right?
Yes.
So your testimony is as Jack's driving up the street, he tosses you the knife at this point?
Yes. And you can see
I would.
At one point, he stopped.
Everything after yes.
Calls for yes or no answer. I'm going to strike everything after yes, ladies and gentlemen, the jury, so please make
He
notation.
needs to put the yes at the end of the answer instead
And
of
by
the
the way, when
beginning.
Jack gives you the knife, do you catch it?
No.
Does it fall?
It fell.
It fell. Okay.
Yes.
Play.
Right there.
That's when it falls.
Stop. Stop. So, thank you. So we didn't see you bend down to pick anything up, correct?
I bent down to pick it up when I
You
was.
had to strike everything after, no.
Court is going to strike. The witnesses respond after no.
He didn't say no.
So at this point in time, in States 44, you're in possession of the knife at this point, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, go ahead. Stop. Now, these are the kids from 43 Laurel Glen that just ran down towards you, right?
Yes.
When they came down the street, did they have any weapons on them?
I didn't look to see if they had any weapons.
But you didn't see any weapons, right?
I didn't look to see if they had any weapons.
They didn't have any weapons on them, right?
Didn't look to see if they had any weapons.
So you didn't see any weapons on them that night, right?
I didn't look. How would I?
So at this point in time,
He sticks to it. That's impressive.
there's no fighting going on down there, right?
No.
And after this video stops, no fight occurs down this end of the street, right?
As they ran down, we said.
Yes or no answer. No fight happens after this video stops, right? No physical altercation happens down this end of the street, correct?
No.
Right. So you have the knife. You don't see anybody else with a weapon. Jack drives off. Mackenzie's down the other end of the street, right? She's at the corner of farmhouse in Laurel Glen.
Yes.
And Dimitri, Will, and Keenan are still in the car as the car drives away, right?
Yes.
So when Jack gave you the knife, they were in the vicinity of seeing that happen, correct?
They were in the car.
Right. Can you play the second one? So again, this is a different angle, right? Mackenzie's walking down the street, and this is you out here, just above this bush on the right side. And here comes Tyler walking to your right, right? So car drives away. You have the knife at this point, right?
Yes.
Tyler Rich runs up to you, right? Is that Tyler Rich that ran up the street, do you recall?
I saw like two kids run past.
Do you recall them throwing something at the car?
Yes.
Recall who that was?
No.
So at some point, you recall who ran down the street?
Like in total?
No, I'm asking first if you were familiar with anybody who ran down the street at that point.
Yes.
Ricky Fiola, right?
Yes.
Tyler Rich.
Yes.
Are you familiar with Ty Wood?
Yes.
Did you run down the street?
I can't remember seeing him.
Charlie Connery, are you familiar with him?
No.
You're not familiar with him. Do you know? So you don't know that the person that testified for the state as our last witness, you can't recall if he ran down the street?
No, I didn't see him.
But there were about 7 kids that ran down the street, right?
I don't know exactly how many.
Or was there more than 7 or less than 7?
I'm not sure.
You would agree with me there was more than 3 kids, right? And clearly in the video, there's more than 3 kids from the Shelton party?
Yes.
Right? And would you also agree with me that after this particular part of the video ends, there's a whole interaction that happens down the end of the street that's not captured on the video, right?
Yes.
And that interaction that's happening is you having the knife, right?
Yeah, it's in my pocket.
You have this interaction with Tyler Rich, right?
Yes, he sprays me.
He sprays you with the WD-40, right?
Yes.
And at some point in time,
admits that.
shortly after that happens, Ricky Fiola comes and talks to you, right?
Like right after, yes.
Right. Because in your words, you indicated that he came up to me, talked to me, made me feel better about the situation, right? Because you had just gotten sprayed, right?
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, between the time you were in the car when you got to 43 Laurel Glen, up until the time where you spoke to Ricky Fiola, the people at that party indicated to you they didn't want you at the house. You were supposed to leave, right?
I guess so, yeah.
So when you spoke to Ricky, not what he said, but during your conversation, pretty much said you should not be here, you should leave, right?
No.
So he actually said you should stay?
He was talking bad about Tyler Rich.
Right. And then he said you guys should probably just leave, right?
No, he never said that.
He never said that. He said probably you should just hang out in the corner and figure it out, right?
I can tell you what he said.
Well, I don't want to know what he said, but the reality is the conversation you had with Ricky Fiola was, hey, I was really messed up that he sprayed me with WD-40, but look, there's a lot of us and there's only 2 of you guys. This is not smart. You probably should just leave. Are you saying that conversation didn't happen?
That's not what he said.
Okay. So, but nevertheless, these 3, 4, or 5 kids that run down the street, including Tyler Rich, they do not engage you in a physical altercation down the street, correct?
Just sprayed me with WD-40.
And walked away then, right?
Yeah.
He walked back to his house, right?
Yes.
And when he walked back to his house, you guys stayed down the street for a little bit, right?
Yes.
And so your testimony today is you were never told to leave the area?
I've never heard anybody say that. Ricky Fiola 100% didn't say that.
And at that point, you said on direct examination, you were scared and confused, right?
Yes.
Terrified about the group of people that were down the road, right?
Just everything.
And you were scared even when the people walked down the street, right? When they came down the street towards Farmhouse Road, that scared you?
When they were running at us, yes.
You were panicked?
Yeah.
You were concerned?
Yes.
You had your phone on you at that point, right?
Most likely, yes.
Most likely, right. So at any point between the time you got out of the car and the time the kids ran down the street, you never called for somebody to give you a ride home, right?
No, Mackenzie's sister was going to give me a ride.
And you never called for an Uber, right? To bring you out of that situation, right?
Mackenzie's sister was going to give me a ride home.
And you never called for a lift, right? Because Mackenzie's sister was coming to pick you up?
Yes.
So Mackenzie's sister was going to pick you up at the corner of Farmhouse Road and Laurel Glen, right?
Yes.
You knew that because you had a conversation with Mackenzie about getting a ride home.
Yes.
Because on direct examination, you indicated that you walked over to Mackenzie and said, hey, listen, can I get a ride home? I don't want to be here anymore, right?
I don't remember my exact words, but I remember asking her for a ride.
Because you were concerned.
Yes.
You wanted to get out of that situation.
Yeah.
Prosecutor's so aggressive, and he is
Mackenzie
not
had her head down, right?
responses.
Yes.
She was on her phone. Safe to say she wasn't paying attention to things going on around her?
Yes.
Isn't it true Mackenzie was mad at you at that point because she didn't want to go to Tyler Rich's house and you didn't stick up for her?
No, she initially started crying and got upset when they were hitting the car.
And by the way, the state called 25 witnesses in this case, right?
Yes.
And you were here for all 25 of those witnesses, right?
Yes.
And the story you're telling us today is the first time we've heard this story, right?
I was never asked by anybody to tell me.
I'm going to move to strike as non-responsive.
So the court's going to go ahead and strike the witness's response to the question as being non-responsive.
That gets.
So this is the first time we're hearing this story, correct?
Yes.
It's right to remain silent.
Mackenzie knew a lot of those kids at that house, right? You knew that.
Yes.
And she didn't want to be there, right?
After they started hitting the car, they started crying.
Right. And at some point in time after this video ends, Will gets out of the car, right?
Yes.
And Keenan gets out of the car, right?
Yes.
And Dimitri gets out of the car, right?
Yes.
And at some point in time, they sit down at the corner because they're waiting for a ride, right?
I remember them sitting around Mackenzie at one point.
But you were not under the impression that they were also waiting for Mackenzie's sister?
The only person I knew that was waiting for a ride, like, definitely was Will Singemore because he was calling his girlfriend.
Because his girlfriend, Carolyn Takis, was coming to get him, right?
Yes.
Right. So as far as you were concerned, Carolyn was coming to get Will, and Dimitri and Keenan had no ride home at that point? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
But nevertheless, Will, Keenan, Dimitri, and Mackenzie don't get back in the car with Jack at some point, right?
Can you say that again?
At some point in time, Jack, you, and De Silva get in the car and go back down to 43 Laurel Glen, right?
Yes.
Right. But when that happens, Will doesn't get in the car, right?
Nobody else gets in the car.
Right. Mackenzie doesn't get in the car, right?
Nobody else got.
Dimitri doesn't get in the car, right? And neither does Keenan, right? Because they didn't want to get involved with what was going to happen, right?
Because they were asked not to.
I'm going to move to strike as non-responsive. Ask that he answer in a yes or no.
I'm going to go ahead and strike witness's last response to the question called for a yes or no answer. Please remove it from the room.
So they didn't get in the car because they didn't want to be involved with what was going to happen, correct?
No.
And at some point in time, you indicate that you say Tyler's your best friend, right? Growing up, you met him since 8 years old?
Yes.
And Jack was only just an acquaintance from St. Joe's, right? You weren't really friends with him?
Not as close as Tyler.
Right. But you all hung out, right?
Yes.
And you all would go to parties together on the weekends, right?
Yes.
You guys were football buddies, right?
Yeah, we all played football. Yeah.
In fact, it wasn't uncommon for Jack to pick you and Tyler up and go to a party, right?
He was always the one that drove.
He was always the one that drove, right? And when you guys are in school, you guys would always hang out and talk, right?
At football practice, not really.
At football. So you didn't associate with Jack in school, just in football practice?
We never had any of the same classes.
Okay. So you never saw him in the hallway and said, hey, Jack, what's up? So you associated with him, right? But Jack was always the one that drove you guys. It wasn't Tyler, right?
Not always, but if we were going out with Jack, he was driving.
But you went out with him a lot is the point, right? Whenever you would go out, it would be you, Tyler, and Jack, right?
No.
No? Even though Jack always drove majority of the time?
Jack always drove when we went out with him.
Okay, but you didn't go out with him a lot? That's what you're saying now? Okay. So at some point in time, there's a conversation. You say on direct examination, there's a conversation between Jack and Tyler in this area, right? You don't know what the conversation's about?
It was something.
I don't want to know what it was about. Do you know what it was about, or yes or no?
Somewhat, yes.
You know somewhat what it was about. So, and based on that information, you were still scared.
Yes.
You were still concerned. And you were still worried about what could happen.
Yes.
And at some point in time, Jack gets in the car.
Yes.
Tyler gets in the car.
Yes.
And you get in the car.
Yes.
And you're still concerned.
Yes.
Right? And you go back down to 43 Laurel Glen, right? Because you're still concerned. Right?
My best friend was going. I was going with.
Non-responsive. I would ask them, that should be stricken.
It's going to strike the witness's response as non-responsive, called for a yes or no. Thank you.
So at some point in time, you get in the car with Jack and Tyler, correct?
Yes.
And you are going to go back to 43 Laurel Glen, right?
Yes.
And you're going to go and talk to some kids that had just damaged the car, right?
Yes.
Threw stuff at the car, right?
Yes.
Bounced on the car, right?
Yes.
Almost withdrawn. Did these things for about a 30 to 40 second period, right? When you were initially in front of 43 Laurel Glen?
I don't know how long it was.
Was it fast? Was it fast interaction or was it slow interaction?
I can't remember.
But nevertheless, these are the kids that damaged the car, right?
Yes.
And you were going back to talk to them, right?
Yes.
These are the same kids, right, that you said you were very concerned about.
Yes.
You were very worried about.
Yes.
you were panicking when this was going on, right?
Yes.
But you went back to 43 Laurel Glen, right?
Yes.
You could have stayed at the corner of Farmhouse Road and Laurel Glen and waited for Mackenzie's sister to pick you up, right?
Looking back, that's what we should have done.
Move to strike as non-responsive.
We'll go ahead and strike the witness's responses and non-responsive. Question called for a yes and no answer.
You could have stayed at the corner of Laurel Glen and Farmhouse Road, correct?
Yes.
But you didn't do that, did you?
No.
And you got back in that car with the knife?
Yes.
And you indicated on direct examination you were scared to get back in the car, right?
Yes.
But you did it anyway.
Yes.
And you didn't have to go back to that house, did you? So you get back to the house, right? And you get out of the car, right?
Yes.
It's 52. I may approach the witness, Your Honor. Jack drives the car and stops the car right about here on stage 52 in front of his mailbox, right? Right in the middle of the road? Right. There's a car parked here, right? He stops right about here, right?
No, it's really close.
How close to the car? Did you open the door?
I wasn't on that side.
Right, but you were on that side at one point, then, weren't you? Yes. So you could open the door, right?
Yes.
Right. So the car was closer to the center of the road, right?
Yes.
And Tyler gets out of the front passenger seat, right? He walks around the car and out to the grass, right?
Yes.
You saw this, right?
Yes.
You got out of the rear passenger seat on Jack's side, right?
Yes.
You walk around the car
You need a right counter.
and you never lost sight of Tyler, correct?
Yes.
So you look at him over the SUV, right? That's what your testimony is?
No, I went around.
You went around the SUV, because you just said that you didn't lose sight of him. So you looked over the SUV and see where Tyler was, right? So my point is, you didn't see him in there. Right? You just walked around the car, then you made contact with Tyler again, right?
Yes.
Right. And Tyler was on the left. Tyler was in this area at some point, on the left, right? You were on the right.
On the grass.
You got him here?
No, right for the curtain.
Right here. Here.
Let him use the pointer.
So you were on the left. Tyler was on the left. You were on the right, right?
Yes.
You walked up together, right?
Yes.
And when you initially got there were like 10 people in the yard, right?
I can't remember exactly how many. We were first approached by Lily Lombardi.
You indicated on direct examination there were people in the yard, right?
Yes.
You said 10 people at first in the back, correct?
Around there?
They were far back, right?
Yeah.
Close to where that little hole is in the, where they came out of?
It was really dark.
It was really dark. You couldn't see, right? You didn't recognize anybody at that point, right?
They were too far away.
And you had the knife in your pocket when you got out, right?
Yes.
When people started coming out of the house, were there girls that came out of the house also?
The first person we spoke to was a girl. Before all those people.
Was there more than one girl at the house? Do you recall?
I don't remember.
Well, Lily Lombardi, right? Taylor Capella was there.
I didn't see her.
Do you know Taylor Capella? Are you saying there was only one girl at the party that night?
I'm saying I only saw her and spoke to one girl.
You only spoke to one girl, but you don't know if there were other girls later on in the evening that were outside watching, right? There could have been. You just don't know. And you said at some point 30 kids come out, right? Yes or no?
Yes.
We were approached by Rich and everybody else. There were 30 people, right?
No, at first it was around 30 people, and then everybody came out.
And how many of those people were girls?
I didn't see any girls.
You didn't see any girls? So there could have been girls in the back, you just don't know.
Yeah.
And when they came out, you recognized only Tyler Rich, right?
Yeah.
And you had your conversation with Tyler Rich. So you just stood there?
Yeah.
And Ryan Hines approached you?
Yeah.
And you had a conversation with Ryan Hines?
Yes.
And that was the kid that you had pushed in the head, according to your testimony earlier that night at Lazy Brook, correct?
Yes.
And you were next to Tyler when this was happening?
Yes.
And you indicated on direct examination there were a wall of people at some point in front of you, right?
Yes.
Right? And initially it was, De Silva was talking about 10 people. You said that on direct, remember that?
Like there was, all of them were all together, but he was directly talking.
So it was like a line of people. It was you, this is Tyler, this is you, and there's a line of people in front of you, right? And there's about 10 people. People. And when you're talking to these people, you're asking where Ayden King is, right?
I asked Ryan Hines, I was like, where's Ayden King? That's my boy.
That's your what?
My boy, like my friend.
That's your friend?
Yeah.
You heard Ayden King testify in this case, right?
Yes.
You heard him testify that you said, tell the people get away from the car, I'm going to smash a bottle on somebody's head, right?
Yeah, he said that.
And you indicated on direct examination that you were speaking with 4 to 5 people, right?
Yeah.
You were speaking with Ryan Hines?
Yeah.
Ty Wood? You remember Ty Wood? Do you know who Ty Wood is?
Yeah.
You know who Ty Wood is? You don't recall seeing him there that night?
I was mainly talking with Ryan Hines.
And Faison Teal was close by at this point?
I believe so, yes.
And so at some point, were there other people that you recognized there at the time besides Ty Wood, Ryan Hines, and Tyler Rich?
There was a giant group of people. There were so many.
But you don't know everybody that was there?
No.
And the knife was in your pocket at this point?
Yes.
And the people you were talking with didn't have any weapons on them, right?
Not that I saw, no.
Right. And you were getting nervous?
Yes.
And you recall at some point, so at the end of your testimony yesterday on direct examination, you indicated that there were 4 to 5 people that you were speaking with, but then today when you started testifying, you indicated there was 20 to 25 people just on you. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
So was it 4 to 5 people or 20 to 25?
They were all together. It's not like it was only 4 who came up and talked to us, or they were all together.
And when you're walking up to Tyler Rich's house, they're telling you to leave the property, right?
No.
And when you're walking up to Tyler Rich's house, you see the kids start coming out of the house, right?
Yes.
And at that point, you could have turned around and went back to the car, right?
Yes.
But you didn't do that, right? And at some point, you indicated there were people everywhere, right? And people were saying stuff, right? It was aggressive. People were arguing. You were arguing back. Tyler was arguing back. And you indicated you were smaller at the time, right? Much smaller than you are today?
Yes.
Right. But you felt like you were okay at that point because you had a knife on you, right?
No.
So you approached kids that had just thrown stuff at the car, right?
Yes.
That had dented the car, right?
Yes.
That had jumped and bounced and rocked the car, right?
Yes.
And you were panicked because of it, and you were worried, and you approached these kids at that point at Tyler's house with a knife in your pocket, correct?
Yes.
And at some point in time, you make a move towards Ty Wood, correct?
No.
You flinch like you're going to hit somebody, right? And when that happens, you get punched by Tyler Rich, right?
I stuck my hand up for somebody to shake hands with.
I would ask I would move to strike as non-responsive.
Court's going to strike a portion of the witness's response after no. Okay, so anything after no to the question, please strike from your notes. That's not to
He
be
makes
considered
eye
evidence.
contact with the jury during that, and I think the jury.
At some point, you get hit in the head, right? On the left side of your head, right?
The jury might not like this.
You don't know who punched you, do you? You know now who punched you, right? But at the time, you did not know who punched you, right? Isn't it true that you thought you got hit in the head with a bottle at that point?
Yeah.
But it wasn't a bottle, right?
I don't know.
Right. And you indicated on direct examination at that point everything went black. How long would you say it went black for?
It's impossible to tell. I have no idea.
You have no idea how so maybe it was like 2 seconds?
Or longer.
Or longer? How long? How long?
There's no way to tell.
No way to tell.
How long were you unconscious? I don't know.
And your face was in the
awake,
ground.
and now I'm awake again.
And all you hitting and kicking you, right?
Yeah.
And you didn't see any weapons, right?
No, I just saw the ground.
And the knife was in your pocket.
Yeah.
And at some point, people were yelling, right?
They were yelling, yeah.
And people were, you couldn't see, but people were all around you. That was your testimony on direct, right? People were all around you, but you couldn't see. So how were you able to see if people were all around you if your head was in the ground?
Before they hit me, they started like circling me.
But when you were in the ground and you were in the fetal position, you couldn't see who was around you, right?
No, I just felt.
You couldn't tell if there was one person engaging you, right?
It was way more than one.
Could you tell if it was one person that was engaging you at that point?
It was way more than
one. Do you
one.
have eyes in the back of your head?
I can feel.
Do you have eyes in the back of your head?
Objection, Your Honor. Argumentative.
Mr. Valle, you indicated on direct examination that your head was in the ground, right?
Yes.
And you were down on the ground looking at the ground, right?
Yes.
And when your head is down on the ground, could you tell if there were two people engaging you?
I could tell there was way more than two.
Could you tell if there was one person engaging you?
I could tell there was way more than one.
Could you tell if there were three people?
I could tell there was way more than.
Could you tell if there were four people?
I could tell there was way more.
How many people did you see? How many people did you see engage you when you were on the ground looking at the ground?
I just felt stuff coming from everywhere.
So you couldn't tell how many, correct?
Yes.
And you still had the knife on you at that point?
Yes.
And you indicated on direct examination that you lost consciousness. How long would you say you lost consciousness for?
There's no way to tell.
There's no way to tell. So you blacked out, right?
Yeah.
And you lost consciousness, right?
That was at the same time.
That was at the same time. But you don't know how long it was. Would you agree with me that the fight on the video doesn't capture the entire fight, right?
No, not anywhere close to it.
The video is about 17 seconds long, right? And the fight in its entirety is probably about 25 to 30 seconds long, right?
No.
No? It's longer than that? What's it, like 5 minutes?
No.
How long would you say it was?
It's impossible to tell, especially when you're like in this situation.
45 seconds?
It felt
like an eternity though, right? But it was about 45 seconds. You don't know how long it was. But you lost consciousness at some point during that whole altercation, right? And you don't know how long you lost consciousness for.
Yeah.
And at some point when you regained consciousness, you took the knife out of your pocket, right?
Yeah.
Now, when the knife was in your pocket, it was closed, right? So you had to take the knife out of your pocket, right? Your right pocket. You had to open the knife, right?
My other hand was covering my head.
It's an easy out. It's openable with one hand. This is how the knife is designed.
Showing your state's 95.
It's got a little post that you just push with your thumb and it pops open.
Picture of a replica of the knife that you had that night, correct?
I never looked at it.
You never looked at it? But it was a knife that opened in this manner, correct? You had to open the knife?
I don't even remember opening it.
You don't remember opening it? Well, was the knife opened in your right pocket when it was in your pocket?
I don't think so, no.
No. So if this was the knife, or if this is a copy of what the knife looked like, it would have been closed in your pocket, correct?
Yeah.
Right. So when you're on the ground, you stick your right hand in your pocket, you take the knife out of your pocket, correct? And then you proceed to open the knife, right?
Doesn't take two
I don't
hands.
remember. My other hand, I remember, was the whole time holding my head.
So you opened that knife with one hand?
Yes.
You recall doing that?
No, I don't remember opening the knife.
He's consistent.
And when you take the knife out, you have it in your hand, your right hand, right?
Yes.
And you have it in your hand like this, in your fist.
Yeah.
And the blade is up this way,
Yes.
right? And you say on direct examination, you were flailing your arms. Do you remember saying that?
Skipping a bit, sorry.
You indicated that you were swinging the knife, right?
Yeah.
Show you states 56. This is Ryan Hines. You remember Ryan Hines from that night?
Yeah.
This is the kid that you say you pushed at Lazy Brook and then did not slam in the head with your helmet. Remember that?
Yes.
He's got a lot of facial injuries. Would you agree?
No.
No? States 83. Would you agree, Mr. Valle, that Mr. Hines has contusions on his head, correct?
I see the one on the top of his head.
You don't see the ones on the side of his head? You don't see that his nose is broken here?
On the side, it just looks like acne.
States 84. You see the contusion on his head?
Yes.
That wasn't caused by your helmet?
No.
Did you do that at 43 Laurel Glen?
No.
So somebody else must have done that.
Yeah, I guess.
You have the knife in your hand. You have it in the fist, right? States 87. And you stab Ryan Hines in his chest and puncture his lung, correct?
Yes.
Like this, right?
Wasn't aiming or anything.
And you stab him in the side. States 89, right? That's not a swipe. Would you agree? That's a stab, right?
I was flailing my arm around.
That was a stab wound, right?
I was flailing my arm around.
So you're indicating that this is a swipe?
Objection, Your Honor. I think that mischaracterizes the testimony.
Sustained.
States 91. You were flailing your arms. He stabbed it again in the left side, correct?
Yeah.
So he stabbed 3 times, right?
Yes.
States 54, Faison Teal. You remember seeing him there that night, right?
I think so.
And you stabbed him, State 70, once in the upper extremity, in his left arm, right?
Yes.
While you were flailing your arms.
Yes.
Ouch. That one hurts.
That's about an inch or so, right? And at some point, they let you go, right?
Oh.
And when they let you go, at that point, Tommy Connery comes over, right? Because Ryan Hines is now out of it because you just stabbed him 3 times, right?
They never let go.
And Tommy Connery comes over. Remember Tommy Connery? States 55? That's Tommy Connery, right?
Yeah.
And you're down on the ground, right? You're bent over, right? No, you're not bent over.
I was on the ground.
You're on the ground. And you go after Tommy Connery, States 77, and you stab him 4 times in his leg, correct?
I didn't go after anybody.
You stabbed him in the leg because he was on the ground. It makes sense. His story is adding up for the most part.
And at some point in time, you're chased out into the street, right?
Yeah.
And you fall down. You said, according to your direct testimony, is you fall and you skin your hands on the ground.
That was after.
That was after. That was the second time, not the first time. But at some point in time, you go out into the street, right? And we see that in the video, correct?
I got thrown like towards the car.
Right. And you run back to the car, right?
Yes.
And you run back to the car and you go to get in the car, right? No one chased you to the car, correct?
Yes, I did.
They did. Okay, let's play. Play this slow. Is this Exhibit 60? This is Exhibit 60. I need
Yes, sir!
Stop it. Who's this person right here running back to the car? Who's chasing them?
If you back it up a little bit, you see all those people, right?
No, they stopped. Back it up. Back it up. Back it up. Right here, right? These kids right here?
Yeah.
They're chasing you? They stopped. Right?
I didn't look backwards.
But they stopped, right? The video shows that they're stopped here at this point, right? They're not chasing you up to the car, right?
The camera turns.
Play it again. Just keep playing. That's you, right?
Yes.
And you're at the car by yourself? Stop it. Do you see any kids coming now from your left side if they're chasing you?
I didn't look that way.
But in the video, they're not chasing you, right?
I didn't look that way.
My question to you is, in the video, they're not chasing you to the car, right?
No?
No. They play it. Stop. Now, at this point, the kids are retreating back onto the property, right?
I was just looking for Tyler.
So the answer to my question is you didn't see where the kids were retreating back to them, right?
I just looked for Tyler.
But they didn't come after you at the car, right?
I just looked for Tyler. I don't know.
They would move to strike is not responsible.
Portal strike the witness's last response.
You indicated on direct examination that you were thrown into the car. You remember testifying to that?
I was pushed towards the car.
But the video doesn't show you being thrown into the car, does it?
I guess not.
Now, at some point in time, you say you saw Tyler back on the lawn, right?
Yeah.
You still had the knife on you at that point, right? The knife was still out in your hand, right? And you come back into the fight, right?
Yeah.
This is where manslaughter comes in. It's funny. It looks like he's going forwards and backwards.
Now, Tyler's being pushed into the street at this point, right?
Yes.
And you would agree with me that there are no Shelton kids to the right of you, right? There's a car. We can see a car right there, right?
There's kids like right.
There's kids in front of you.
To the right, yes.
But there's no kids right to the right of you. There's a car. We can see the car. If there were, we wouldn't be able to see the car, right?
That's the street.
Right. There's nobody to the right of you, right? There's a kid in front of you.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of kids right there.
Right. There's a whole bunch of kids over here we can't see, but there's nobody to the right of you, right?
There's a kid right next to him.
There's a kid here. But I'm saying, is this you right here?
Yes.
Right. To the right of you, do you see a kid or a car?
That's the street.
That's the street, and there's a car there, right?
Yeah.
So there's nobody to the right of you, right? There's a car.
There's nobody in the street.
And there's nobody to the left of you other than Tyler De Silva, right?
Yeah.
So when you're going back in, there's just a wall like this, right?
It's like this.
Right. But you're not surrounded at that point, right?
At that point, no.
No. But you go back in, and Tyler's already pushed out into the street, right?
The video. I'm on my way back as you.
But Tyler
is no longer engaged in the fight, right?
I don't remember.
You don't remember that. So you just blacked out and ran right back into the fold. That's your testimony today?
Being on the yard, and it was just like a shoe horse of people.
A shoe horse, but not a circle. You were not encircled, right?
Like, was there anybody behind me?
Right. There's nobody behind you.
I don't know. I don't think so.
Right. So you could have, if you chose to, but you did not. You could have left. You could have retreated, right?
Oh.
So you could not have left because there were people around you?
Yes.
So you just said that there was a semicircle of people on the yard. Now you're saying that you were surrounded.
It was like this.
So semicircle, right?
Yeah.
Not a circle. A circle goes like this, right?
Yeah, I wasn't going to turn my back to that many people.
You weren't going to. I'd move to strike as non-responsive, Your Honor.
I'm going to allow the last
He finally got one to stick.
You indicated when you made it back to the car, you were still terrified, right?
Yeah.
You were still scared. You came back in anyway, right? With the knife. And you ran over to the edge of the grass, right? And you passed Tyler, right?
Yes.
He passed you on your left, correct?
Yes.
You indicated that you saw Matt Lakovich.
Yes.
But you also indicated on direct you couldn't see who hit you. You said you were hit.
Yes.
You remember saying that? You couldn't see who hit you?
I remember getting hit.
But you don't know who hit you?
I don't think so, no.
You recall subsequent during your direct examination, you said, Matt Lakovich hit me?
I said it could have been him.
Could have been, but you don't know who hit you. And when you were running back into the fight, you had the knife out, right?
Yes.
And people that were in front of you were defending themselves from you, weren't they?
Oh, they kept coming at me.
They kept coming at you while you had a knife out, approaching them?
I was standing still right there.
You heard Charlie Connery yell, "He's got a knife, he's got a knife," right?
I just heard screaming. I couldn't.
At the time, you don't recall hearing that during the incident, right? But on the video, you hear him yell, "He's got a knife, he's got a knife," right? And you're saying that people engaged you while you had a knife at this point in time?
Nobody backed up.
Nobody backed up, but nobody attacked you.
They were stepping forward, and somebody ended up hitting me.
You couldn't see who hit you.
No.
And you couldn't see if anybody had a weapon on them at that point, right? And at some point, you indicate that you turned around, well, let's run. At some point in time, you turned, right, to run back to the car, right?
Yeah.
But when you're turning to run back to the car, you see Jimmy McGrath and you stabbed him in the chest, correct?
No. I'll never do.
Have you seen the autopsy photos, sir?
Yes.
Did you see where his injuries happened? In his upper left chest? Yes. Are you saying you did not stab Jimmy McGrath in the heart?
I didn't plan.
Move to strike is non-responsive.
This is a dirty trick.
I will strike everything after. I'm not sure we got a response, so I will strike the response.
Isn't it true? You just testified that I didn't want to turn my back on these people, right?
Yes.
But you turned your back on these people when you were trying to get out of there, right?
I was facing backwards.
So you were facing back. So you're facing the group. And what are you backing up like this?
No, I was standing there.
Right. You're not backing up, right?
I got hit.
Right. You're not backing up. And as a matter of fact, this is Jimmy McGrath on the left here, right?
Yes.
And he doesn't have a weapon on him, does he? And he's not engaging you, is he?
Stepping forward.
He's stepping forward?
They all stepped forward.
But he doesn't have a weapon on him, does he?
Not that I saw, no.
And it would be unfair for somebody who doesn't have a weapon to be stabbed by somebody who does, right?
I didn't try to stab anybody.
But you stabbed him, didn't you?
Yes.
You turned around and stabbed Jimmy McGrath in his chest.
No.
So you didn't stab him?
I didn't see it happen. I didn't feel me stab. I didn't go up to him and stab him.
Are you saying it was somebody else that stabbed Jimmy McGrath?
I was the only one with a knife.
Correct. You were the only one with the knife. And you turned around and you stabbed Jimmy McGrath in the chest, and then you left, right?
Oh.
Yes. It's 1.
Stop here.
Ladies and gentlemen, the jury, we are going to move into full on brief, and we'll come back and stay there, finish this cross-examination, and then we'll see if there's any redirect. Okay. Thank you, and for your lunch, please again, remember the rules of fair conduct. Stands for lunch recess until 2 p.m.
All right.
Okay, I realize on cross you get to lead, right? On cross you get to lead. You don't get to lead on direct. The frustrating part in this particular case is the prosecutor led all the way on direct. Defense never objected, so fair is fair. And now the table's on the other, the gloves on the other hand, whatever you want to call that. And now he's leading, and he's leading in a way that is exactly why most people hate lawyers. It's sneaky. He's twisting the words a little bit, and he's forcing a yes/no when a yes/no doesn't fit, right? He's trying to say, and then you turn around and stab Jimmy in the chest, and he's like, and that was not the testimony. He didn't. He says, I got hit and I swung at them, and as I was sort of going down. But this particular court, more than any other court I've ever watched, holds strictly the yes/no answer rule. That if the question can be answered with a yes or no, it must be answered with a yes or no, or an I don't know. And anything beyond that is non-responsive. That's the rule. That's what the rule is. But I've never seen it enforced to the degree that this court does. Which is, it's fair. It's basically, it's the rule book. It's how it should be. And what should happen is on cross-examination, he gets all these yes/no questions, and yes or no, did this happen? Yes or no? That's how it should be. And then on redirect, his lawyer goes back through the list of those and says, now explain that answer. Explain that one. And he gets all the answers out that way. That's the way it should happen. What happens here is we've got Raul on the stand, who has been remarkably consistent, more so than some of the doctors we've seen in this trial, in the consistency, in the style of answering question, his demeanor, and it comes across as truthful generally. Yes, we've got some problems with his memory and some video things that happened, especially with the first fight. I'm not saying he's telling the truth 100%, but a jury looking at this might get the impression, and as many people have in chat, that he seems to be telling the truth about certain things, about, like, he's trying to tell the truth as he remembers it. And the prosecutor coming at this yes or no, move to strike, non-responsive. It looks like a bully. It looks like a bully. Amber, hang on, I've got to change the plug here. I was charging my phone. Amber, are you there?
I'm here. How are you?
Good. How are things in Modland? What happens in Modland stays in Modland. All right. I can see you guys. I know what's going on.
I know. I just think it's hilarious when you see what we're up to in Mod Chat during the live stream. We can see your face as you read it. Anyway, I wanted to call in and give some clarity to something real quick. I think it was Pamela's question that I was trying to answer, and I don't know if she saw my response, but I saw a lot of these questions kind of in chat.
Hang on.
When we say that...
I don't know what I just did. I just deleted a soundbite permanently.
Oh, no. Which one?
And it's one I use every morning. It's the FBI one.
Oh, no.
Like, it's the... The one that comes right before this.
I object.
And then
Did the defendant find out how the FBI finds?
no, it's not that. Yeah, it is. Did she find out? No. I'll find it again.
I can re-download it. I'll re-record it and send it to you.
Okay, all right. I just rested my hand on the soundboard and I saw that it cleared one of my lights out. It's blank. No. Okay.
Yeah,
now,
Rena
sorry.
said good thing.
I'll
Good
focus
thing you
again.
have all your screens recorded. So when it comes to things that are stricken from the record, so when the prosecutor says he moves to strike and the judge strikes part of the answer, that part of the dialogue is still in the court transcript. When we strike it from the record, that means if the jurors get read back testimony, that part of the answer is stricken from that read back.
Yeah.
And
They're supposed to cross it out in their
not
notes and not consider it in the deliberation.
correct. And it's stricken from being included as part of evidence. We also need to remember, sorry if you can hear my youngin in here wrestling with a dog. I lost my train of thought.
Redirect, they should be able to address all those. And
Right. So when he's asking a yes or no question, a lot of you are thinking that the prosecutor is being very abrasive, and it's not necessarily that. We just haven't seen in a very, very long time a courtroom that actually adheres to the rules of cross and direct.
yeah. It has been so long, especially one that adheres so strictly as this one.
Right.
Where a lot of times if the answer sort of answers the question without a yes or no, it's like, oh, I felt that way a little bit. You know, that would be like, okay, that was a yes. But here it would be like, is it yes or no? Anything else is gone. And as soon as you're like, yeah, but, nope, but is gone. It's so strict. I wonder if the jury, this might be the only experience the jury has had with court, right? They might not be true crime fans. They might not have, sat through trials and understood how this process works out. You've got someone who has a demeanor on the stand that appears to be identical to when he's in a friendly situation, that he's willing to answer. He's trying to answer questions. And he maintains that even under some pretty aggressive questioning. I wonder if they feel like he looks like a bully. And if so, I mean, this prosecutor could be burning his bridge here, and not getting the mileage he's going for when he tries to corner Raul into saying yes or no to certain questions that aren't quite the way Raul is trying to present the story.
Right.
That's all the thoughts I had.
So real quick, Virginia, sorry, I got distracted.
It's okay. You can tell me you don't listen to me. I know you're a mod and you're busy.
Yes. We're just gonna.
His attorney can ask him and let him go on and on. That's his job. Yeah, that's going to happen on the redirect if he does it right. But I don't think it will. Only because I don't think his attorney's very good at that. His attorney struggled sometimes even getting direct questions out without leading. I don't know if his attorney's going to shine in this area at rehabilitating his witness.
Well, the thing is, though, is that when the prosecutor is asking a direct yes or no question, he can demand just a yes or no answer. That's where we're seeing him say, objection, move to strike for non-responsive after no, because he's asking a very direct question. Now, his attorney could stand up and say, objection, can he finish answing the question?
His attorney doesn't know what objection means, so he doesn't do that.
Right. So this guy is actually a very good defense attorney. I've seen him in other cases, not just the Fotis Dulos case, for those that know that case. He is a very, very skilled attorney. But for some reason, we don't see him saying, objection, Your Honor, can the witness finish his answer? And it's up to the judge to say yes or no. but he also has the ability to rehabilitate all of these things that Raul wants to actually expand on. He can ask that back on redirect. That's what redirect is for. We just haven't seen courts adhere to these rules of questioning.
Yeah.
And
most judges allow the
structure.
attorneys to run their courtroom, and this one is following the rules very well.
It's
I love how she
following the
does it.
rule by the book. Like, we haven't seen this in a long time, so it looks very foreign and very aggressive in a style perspective. But it's actually how it's designed to be.
And I realize he's 20, he's legally an adult, but he looks still like a kid, and he talks in a timid voice, and he's describing a situation he describes as, sometimes he was the aggressor, but in a majority he was a victim. It's easy, I think, for the jury to look at this prosecutor towering over him, waving the pointer around, thinking like, don't hit him, you're coming at him too hard.
Right. I mean, I'm not going to give an opinion one way or another on my feelings on this case, because I usually don't do that anyhow. But when it comes to explaining different styles, I see everybody thinking that however, like, they're following the rules by the book.
This is how basically law school will teach you how to handle cross and direct.
Right. Yep. And I had to check certain facts myself as far as how the foundation is actually designed and taught, because I didn't realize certain parts of this either. So it was kind of a cold water to the face for me. I think it was yesterday when I had that kind of reaction when defense started, because it's shocking. We don't usually see it. So
I've got somebody else that wants to weigh in on this, I think, on the same topic. Amber, thank you. What? Are you leaving me? Amber? Amber, are you there? I did not hang up on you. Okay. She hung up, and now the other person hung up. I lost you both. Okay, it looks like I hung up on you, but I didn't. I promise. The phone number ended in 34. Call back. Sorry about that. I thought she said wait, or maybe great. Let's go with great, and then she just hung up promptly, not waiting for me to say goodbye. Going to blame this on Amber. All right, here we go. 34 is calling back.
Call from Melissa.
Hey, Melissa, this is RA. Did you want to weigh in on this topic?
Yeah, I kind of do, because she's completely correct with a lot of court cases we've watched, especially the one with Cannoni, was totally offensive.
We've seen some courts where we've struggled with how the management went in the courtroom, for sure.
Yeah, it was terrible. But I do like this judge.
She's very thorough. She explains things to the jury, things that the judge knows like the back of her hand. She takes the time to pause and say, "Now, jury, that means strike it. If it's in your notes, cross it out. You can't consider that." I like that she's thorough that way. I like that she's every time she's like, "Do both sides agree the jury's here?" The procedures are important to follow, and she's following the letter of the court law.
She really is, and she's kind. I mean, she's not a bitch about what you think about it. But I shouldn't have said that. I'm sorry.
No, you shouldn't have, but we'll just, not a bit. Not a bit what? Not a bit mean. Yeah. All right.
But I like that there's not a lot of objections from the defense.
That could be a strategic move on his part.
I was going to say, I think he's got something up his sleeve that is yet to come.
I think
he
knows his client and his client's demeanor, and he thinks it might be better to make him look like he's being bullied than me to stand up and force the prosecutor to word the questions right.
I mean, I think that might be true. But another thing I wanted to ask is, I haven't heard that there are any lessers.
I've heard there are. I don't know what they are, but
Is there any way we can find out? I mean,
they might
haven't
not be
Googled it.
formally selected until the jury selection, or the jury charge
What
conference.
could they be?
All the way down to
What could-
reckless endangerment, assault. I mean, the murder charge could drop. The assault charges obviously could have a lesser degree type situation. But
Right.
from murder, it could be manslaughter, could be reckless endangerment, it could be.
It should have never been murder in the first place. So I don't get that anyway. I don't think it should have been murder. I always thought it should have been manslaughter.
It does seem like a reach in light of some of the testimony, but I can't blame them for going for that in the situation.
Yeah. Yeah, I just wanted to. Your last caller, Amber. I like Amber a lot, and I totally agree with her on this.
She's in my top 10 mods.
She's on
She's
point.
a top 10. So.
Yeah. But I just wondered also if you knew anything about lessers involved, because I want to know.
We'll probably hear that on Thursday.
Okay.
Thursday we'll probably hear.
So, and there is no court tomorrow. Are we going to do the Kohberger thing?
We will be going to the Kohberger, the plea hearing.
I'll be there. Be there or be square.
Yep. So, Melissa, thank you very much. It was Melissa, right? Yeah. All right. Thank you so much for the call. We'll see you.
Thanks, Scott. Talk to you later. Bye.
I have to find that. It's Letitia Stauch. How did she search for? How does the FBI find people? I need to find that clip. So I usually use it coming back from lunch, but obviously now I can't. So top 10. I have 4. I don't have 10 mods. Letitia is where I found this channel. Thank you very much, Wogger. I have some undercover mods as well. Stout Trail was very disturbing. Yeah. Poor Gannon. We've got 7 mods, and Amber's in my top 10. How does that go? All right, we are going to be going to lunch here in just a second. And when we come back, we already have a portal set up, so we're going to be back here for the afternoon. We expect the state to finish cross-examining Raul, and then redirect will most likely finish today. And we could be done with all the testimony, no rebuttal, moving straight on, skipping tomorrow because we're going to be in Kohberger's case, and we've got some other stuff to watch from that. But tomorrow we'll be live. In the morning, it will be some court hopping. I've got some Judge Middleton you've got to see from this morning. And then in the afternoon, it's going to be Kohberger. Then we're going to be back to this case. We'll have the charge conference, the jury charge and instructions and closing statements and everything probably on Thursday, and deliberation. Might even get a verdict on Thursday if it's a quick one. So it's going to be a crazy week. If there's not a verdict, then we take the 4th of July off because our nation here in the United States is turning 249 on Friday. And then we'll be back on Monday for more deliberation. So that's the schedule as it goes. Tonight when you go home, please hug the people you love, smile at someone, make their day just a little bit better, and please stay safe till we go live again in about 35 minutes, 40 minutes or so. We'll see you guys after lunch. Have a good one. Bye-bye.